another episode. I believe we're up to episode 6 of another gaming podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Steven, the Laggy Gamer, and I'm joined by a fellow co-host, Dustin Christ. What's going on, Dustin?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight's entertainment. I just got to watch the Batman movies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you had that marathon. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
You need to do a video anthology, impression video or something on it, since you just did that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty bad.
Anyways, how you doing, Dustin?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing better since we are still alive.
Oh, yeah.
We're recording this after the end of the world, apparently.
Maybe we're just somebody's fever dream, though.
Could have been. I have no
Flash
idea.
before the... Yeah.
And our guest tonight, we have another guest. I thought he was going to be one of the guys bringing upon waves of doom upon the earth because of his name. And his name is Doomwaves, fellow YouTuber. Thanks for joining us tonight, man. Are you excited to be here with our uber popular podcast you're on?
I'm so excited. It's beyond me, and the doom will be brought.
Yes, it will be brought in. But if it's okay, Doom, is it okay if we call you Chance?
Absolutely.
We're going to go ahead and use his real name. His name is Chance for this podcast, so we don't have to keep saying Doom over and over and make it all depressing during the podcast. So, anyways,
I like to think of Doom as a good thing.
Doom is a good thing.
Doom is a good thing.
Only for you. Only in Doomwave's case is it a good thing. Anyways, well, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to have Chance here. Chance is a newer YouTuber here. I haven't been on too long, but I've really been enjoying his stuff. And Chance, why don't you tell us a little bit about your channel and why you got started into YouTube? Because it's getting kind of populated, but you're willing to take the chance to get in there. So.
Oh, you see what he did there? You see what he did?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Basically, it's pretty simple. Like Dustin said in one of his last videos, I'm going to do this as long as it's fun. And, I got into it. I started watching a few different YouTubers, and it's like, man, I really should do this. And that's actually kind of when I started collecting video games in general. I've only been collecting about a year, but I've had an NES, an Atari 2600, and an Xbox 360, and a PS2 for a really long time, but I just never really got into collecting games. I just got the occasional game for the newest one that I had, whatever system that was. And just kind of, piddled around a little bit, but never anything major. And I started watching, a lot of these people doing game room tours. It was actually the first kind of video that I started watching a whole lot of. And I just got really jealous. And I'm like, man, I want all of that stuff. I didn't even know what most of it was, but I knew that I wanted it. And, when I first got into gaming about a year ago, you would have asked me what a TurboGrafx 16 was. I'd have said, I don't know. Is it a blender? I wouldn't have had any idea, but I kind of got into it and educated myself, watched a bunch of YouTubers, you guys included, and got into your podcast a while back, and just been having a really great time playing a lot of really good games and met a lot of really great people. So it's a great community to be a part of, and I'm very happy to be here.
It is. Yeah. Go ahead, Dustin.
I was gonna say that's really what it's all about. That's the entire point of me starting my channel. Is I wanted to get on here and talk to people about playing games and stuff, and it's worked out really well for me. And I have to say, Chance, that whenever you put up a video, I'm really excited because I don't know what it is about your channel, if it's just your delivery or I know with your pickups videos, I just like seeing all the random stuff you buy. Because, I honestly, I've not seen somebody, hold up a VHS tape and be like, I bought this, for the longest time. I kind of almost forgot what VHS tapes were. But there's a real common sense approach to your channel that I really enjoy, as opposed to some of these other channels out there that really go over the top. Which, mine may be a little bit too, where it's just I bought this, huge stack of crap that I don't really need. These massive collections, and I do like the smaller channels out there, and I have to say yours has been one of my favorites within the last year.
That's very flattering. Thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot.
It is. It's been great. I loved how your approach and everything is to it, and how you're not afraid of these Nintendo NES games like I am, especially like your Dragon Warrior video. I was like so impressed by that. It makes me want to go play it, even though I am intimidated by that game.
Seriously, that is like,
It sounds like such a great game.
I am so much more scared of playing um, games on newer consoles than I am of the NES stuff, because it's like, I don't know. There's just a simplicity to it. I don't know. I don't understand. Especially Dragon Warrior. Dragon Warrior is cake compared to, like, I don't know, like Morrowind. I have the game, but I'm intimidated as crap to put it in. Yeah, the NES RPGs are a lot easier to me.
Well, no, I think it's. I mean, there's a simplicity to the NES, but at the same time, like, there's just an incredible challenge to it, because I'm sure we'll talk about this game a little later, but I just downloaded the Street Fighter Cross Tekken. God damn it, Street Fighter Cross Mega Man, and while that's not an NES game, it's in that style, and that game is pretty friggin' hard, you know.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
It's impossible.
So I can see why people would have an intimidation factor with the NES games, because, you know, modern day games are just so friggin' easy, whereas those old NES games are, whoa, man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking while we're on the NES, maybe go ahead and get into our first question for Chance, because maybe it could be an NES game, and that is the Power 3 questions. First question: what's your favorite game of all time, Chance?
It's no shock if you've looked at my name or watched my channel. It is in fact Doom. That is by far my favorite game of all time, and something about it that it just doesn't get old to me. It's like someone playing solitaire, or someone playing mahjong, or Tetris. Something, you know, is mindless that they just do to pass time, and Doom is kind of that game for me. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's just like that. I equate it to that. I mean, obviously it's not the same type of game, but when I'm playing Doom, it's usually, you know, that reason. And when I say that Doom, I really mean the first one. Doom 2 also, but I didn't have Doom 2 as a kid. We just had the first one on the Windows 95, and I would only get to play it on the weekends because my dad had a laptop, and it was a Windows 95. Our home computer was like a DOS 3.1 or something like that, or Windows 3.1. You know, so it didn't have much on it. I had Wolfenstein on it, and that's kind of the game that got me started down that path. But if you've watched anything that Romero has recorded, interviews with him, he'll tell you, you know, that Doom was the perfected version of Wolfenstein, basically. And so yeah, that's, and I would only get to play it on the weekend because Dad had his laptop for his job, you know, and he'd bring it home on the weekend so I could play. So
Now, what year did that actually come out, Doom? What was what year did it come?
You know, I'm really not sure. Let me look at my copy here.
I think it was 94.
93.
93.
I've got my original Ultimate Doom for the PC still, and yeah, 1993.
So 1993, and I actually just beat it for the first time in 2012. And I mean, well, I got it on the BFG edition, like you heard in probably Dustin's video on Doom 3 BFG edition, how great it was going back and playing that game. Like, I've had more fun with that game than probably Doom 3.
Yeah.
Because the simplicity of it, yet it was just taking me back to where, like, this is what started it all. And it actually is working still today.
Yeah, and
I just had a blast with it.
Absolutely.
Still playable. It like you said, I think in a video you did recently, Chance, you talked about it, and you don't know what you bought Doom 3, I think, and you didn't know how the Dooms would play on this generation's console or what they were like. I could tell you on the 360 version, the BFG edition, it plays fantastic. Dustin could probably back it up. It plays
silky
great.
smooth.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually have never played Doom 3. I bought it pretty close to when it came out. I bought the collector's edition, you know, but the main reason I bought it was because I knew that it had Doom 1 and 2 on it, on the disc. That's the reason I bought it, for the original Xbox. Yeah. I mean, I cared about Doom 3. I kind of wanted to play it, but there's something about Doom 3 and on the Xbox, and I think they fixed it for the 360 a little bit. I've heard some different reviews, and I think you guys might have talked about it a little bit. It's so dark, and I can't see anything, and I don't know. I'm not sorry, Steven. I'm not really into survival horror games that much. So just the dark, the darkness, it just bugs me that I can't see anything. So I've been kind of turned off by Doom 3 a little bit, but I'm gonna give it an honest try when I finally do get my hands on the BFG edition.
Oh, that's very understanding because I'm not gonna lie. When I get a new game, the first thing I always do is I crank up the brightness. I gotta be able to see where I'm going. And even in Doom 3, I cranked it up, and which is kind of crazy. Now I'm thinking back, like playing through the original Doom, it's not really dark. You got light everywhere. So
there's certain
different.
areas where it's
areas.
dark, but it's usually like triggered by something. You walk under something and it triggers, a darkness, and then enemies come out. But there's usually, that light at the end of the tunnel or whatever, that you can see to guide your way back to, where you came in from. But for the most part, you're right. There is no dark, ever really.
And I will say, because maybe it's okay to actually talk about it now. It has been how many years now? So Doom, like playing through the first, what is it, 9 stages? Like you think you're about to beat the game, and then that scene happens. Like, what kind of like what the crap moment would that be? The first time you're playing. I mean, I experienced it for the first time this year. How did you feel the first time you saw the screen like that?
Well,
Did you think is this really the end?
Like at the very beginning, like at the end of the first episode, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, first episode.
Yeah, I didn't know why
episodes.
I couldn't kill anything. I just like spinning around in circles, and I'm getting hit from all sides, and I'm wondering what's going on. And it brings up the screen and starts, it's scrolling text on there. I'm like, okay, that sucks. And then you go to the second episode, and the good thing, the redeeming thing I think about at least the first Doom, as far as replayability, I guess, is that it's pretty even keel, all the way across. If you're playing on the lowest difficulty level, you can pretty much breeze through the entire game, and not without a lot of difficulty until you get to like the bosses at the end of the second and third episodes. The big cyber demon and then the big spider demon thing. Those are kind of tough, But if you know how to play, and on the computer, I never learned how to strafe. So I always was just trial and error, just backing up in circles, and I got pretty good at it. But then when I started playing it on the Xbox and I learned how to that you could strafe, it's like, wow, that what would that have done for me at age 12? Holy crap! I wouldn't have known what to do with myself.
But what got me is, I promise I'll let Dustin talk here. I'll let him get in some words. But
why?
I didn't know it had multiple episodes, so I beat the first episode, and I thought for its time, I thought that was, since it's such an old game, that was a good time length for a game. Old game, about an hour or two. I mean, that's cool. I'm satisfied. So I thought that was the end of the game, and it really wasn't. So it really tricked me. So. What are your feelings on Doom, Dustin?
Well, I was just sitting here thinking, like, equivalency. What is more popular, Call of Duty now or Doom when it came out?
Oh, Doom, absolutely.
Because, I mean, they don't call first-person shooters Call of Duty clones. Doom clone was synonymous with first-person shooters for years.
After
Doom came out, and it's just, all the different mods and things like that. I mean, people talk about Call of Duty being so popular nowadays, but I don't think it had anything on Doom back in the day. Even me, I mean, my first experience with Doom was on the Super Nintendo.
Yeah,
and
which is horrible.
Yeah, comparatively, yeah. But when you're a young kid, you're like, oh, this is so awesome. And then I played Doom 64, which is actually a really fun Doom game. But, what the hell? Who's moving boxes?
That was me in my beanbag chair.
Oh.
I'm sorry. My Christmas present.
But yeah, I just, I think Doom is one of those games that, in the annals of video game history, like when an alien race is coming down and what is this thing called video games, it's going to be there on that list.
Yeah.
Next to Mario
Yeah.
Brothers and Zelda and things like that.
Well, and I'll say one thing about, like, if Doom had come out now, and had the exact same impact that it did on gaming, it would have sold so much more too, because like when it first came out, the availability of home computers was at quite a bit lower level than the number of homes that have PS3 or an Xbox or a PC now, and they can play, Call of Duty or anything really for that matter. So I think about that sometimes. It's like, well, what if it had come out now and had the same impact on gaming? Good grief.
Well,
Think about how much money id Software would have.
a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
people bought computers to play Doom. I know
Yeah.
I had a couple friends that forced their parents because, I mean, when I was around that age, computers were just starting to become a thing that people would buy. It wasn't like now, every phone is a computer. But
Yeah.
I mean, I remember, what are you getting for Christmas? Oh, I'm going to have my dad buy me a PC so I can get Doom,
Wow. See, I don't remember any of that because I was not into PC stuff back then. That was Super Nintendo days for me.
Yeah.
So hearing about all this stuff with Doom, I did not know it was that popular of a game back
Oh yeah,
in
it
its
was
time.
it was crazy. Watch. There's a really great interview with Romero, the developer, and the id Software guys. I can't remember the guy's name, the last name, but it's called Matt Chat, and he was on the All Gen Gamers a while back, and I checked out his channel and his interview with Romero, and it's really great. It talks about, it's in like 4 parts, and so you hear from the horse's mouth how much work went into it and how good it was. So check that
That's
out.
awesome.
I mean, it's a really great interview.
Cool deal. I guess we can go on with the next question in the Power 3, and that is, what is your favorite movie?
Favorite movie. I knew this was coming, and it's kind of strange. Both of you will probably stick one eyebrow up when I tell you.
Listen, Fem Trooper said Miss Doubtfire.
Yeah.
I think that's one. So I mean, bring it on, man. Bring it to us.
Okay. Well, based on my channel, you wouldn't think that this is my favorite movie, but my favorite movie of all time has got to be Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner.
Interesting.
That is absolutely my favorite movie of all time. I had it when it first came out. My parents went and saw it in the theaters, and I remember I was so jealous. I had an obsession with Robin Hood. I was Robin Hood for Halloween. I read Robin Hood books, and I just wanted to see this freaking movie. And they wanted to go see it first because they didn't know if there was any nudity or anything in it, so they wanted to go check it out before they let me see it. But I remember the night that they brought it home on VHS. I was at my grandparents' house or something, and I got home. It was late at night, and I threw it in, and they let me watch it, and I stayed up and watched the whole thing, and I loved it, and I still do. I used to have the VHS. I don't know what happened to it. I think I let somebody borrow it, and it disappeared. But I was so thrilled when I found it in the $5 bin at Walmart, the DVD. I almost bought 2. So
Awesome.
I don't know why. I mean, I can't explain it other than I just have always had a moderate obsession with Robin Hood. I even have some action figures from the movie. I have a Kevin Costner action figure and a Morgan Freeman action figure. So go figure.
Now, what was the chuckle, Dustin? Why did you have a little laugh when he said that?
Okay, because whenever I think of that movie, I think of 2 things. One, I think of Alan Rickman going, "I'll dig his heart out with a spoon," and then I cannot think about that movie without thinking of Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yeah.
So
I've actually never seen that. So
Chance, you need to watch it.
I've avoided it because of my fandom of Robin Hood.
No,
I don't want to soil it. I don't know, man. I don't know.
It skewers Robin Hood just as good as Galaxy Quest skewers Star Trek. If you've ever seen Galaxy Quest.
No, haven't seen Star Trek yet.
Oh wow, Tim Allen. You're talking about Tim Allen, right? Galaxy
the Tim
Quest.
Allen movie.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've heard of that at least. I've never seen any of the Star Trek films either. I'm sorry.
Oh,
What about this new miniseries? Have you watched, or I don't know if it's new anymore, the Robin Hood miniseries? You get into that at all?
No, I haven't. I haven't, and I haven't. I saw some of the Russell Crowe movie that came out a few years ago, and it looked pretty good. I think it's Russell Crowe,
yeah.
Robin
Yeah.
Hood, and it looked pretty good. I just never got to watch the whole thing. I recorded it on my DVR, and I had a bunch of other movies on there. And then a few weeks later, my DVR overheated and it wouldn't work anymore. So they came and replaced it, and I asked them, "It's like, well, is there any way to get my all the stuff that I recorded off of my old one?" And they're like, "No, you're screwed."
Thanks, buddy.
I
I
was so
like the
mad.
new one. Others will tell you they probably didn't, but I enjoyed it. It was decent.
I would probably like it anyway. I mean, just because it's Robin Hood, and I also really like Russell Crowe. So I mean, I can't see how it would be horrible. But yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
You didn't really like it, did you, Dustin?
It was okay.
Yeah.
I think it had a lot of build up because it was, oh, here's Ridley Scott doing medieval stuff again. This is gonna be awesome. And then you go watch and you're kind of like, it's okay, but
Yeah.
it's not great, you know.
Yeah, it was okay. But
So
anyways,
other than that, I mean, I would definitely go with the Terminator series as being my second favorite movie. I guess I say series because I really like all of them, but I can't pick one that's my favorite of those.
I could. I'm not a huge fan of the first one. It really starts at number two, T2,
Yeah,
where it gets
The first one actually
fantastic
kind of
stuff.
sucks. First one actually kind of sucks just because of the bad acting
Yeah.
and the cheap special effects, for the time that it came out. So you're absolutely right. It really does kind of start with the second one, and really, it's not imperative that you see the first one to even understand everything that's going on in the second one.
Exactly.
I wasn't. I mean, I don't hate the third one, but I'm not. I'm all right with it. I like the third one. I just think once again some bad acting and Arnold getting a little old for his combat boots. But I really, 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 really liked the fourth one, Salvation.
Salvation. Yeah.
I just thought it was such a good movie, and Sam Worthington has become one of my favorite actors as of late, and Christian Bale is really great too, and it was just phenomenal. It was really good. I liked it.
Cool deal.
I still have to see the fourth one.
It's worth it. It really is. It definitely to me redeems all of the disdain with the third one. I mean, like I said, I mean I like it still because it does flow with the series, but the fourth one really just basically this isn't really a spoiler, but Judgment Day happens,
Yeah.
and it just shows all those things that Linda Hamilton said could happen. And I'll wait for Steven to get his beanbag settled.
Yeah, the world just ended right there. That was the sound of it.
That was Judgment Day right there.
Yeah.
Hey,
We weren't ready. We weren't.
I turned the
warned.
mute button on my mic on. I don't know how you guys heard that.
It was that loud that it went over top the music.
Oh my goodness.
But anyway,
I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
It's all right. Like I said, I really like Sam Worthington's character and his kind of struggle. Because I shouldn't say too much about what.
No, because the trailer gave that away.
Okay, well, his inner struggle with who he's become or what he's become, and I think it's really good, and yeah, and like I said, Christian Bale, Christian Bale.
Oh, you just reminded me of something. You guys, when we're not recording, go onto YouTube and type in "extremely dark night" and watch that video. It's
I can
like
only imagine.
it's like spot
Okay.
on.
Awesome. Well, we'll go ahead and just nail out the third question. I'm gonna get it right this time. Favorite recording artist?
Oh wow, I wasn't ready for that one. I have such eclectic. We're talking about music, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, people throw out the word eclectic a lot, but I think I really am pretty eclectic. I would venture to say that my favorite group is probably Tool.
Yes.
I've seen them twice. I love every single track on every single album, and they're just a phenomenal band. And I play music myself, and Justin Chancellor, the bass player for Tool, the current bass player for Tool, is I play bass, and he is my ultimate musical influence. That guy is a beast. And
Did,
Danny Carey's from Kansas, and that's where I'm from. So
did you ever listen to Justin Chancellor's first band, Peach?
yeah, Peach. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
great actually. I don't care for the vocalist as much. He's kind of mundane, kind of boring, but I really like their groove that they have. But really, he sounds nothing like that now. Like Peach really sounds like old Tool, and that's good. I like that. But yeah, they're good. Giving Birth to a Stone is the album. I have a copy of it somewhere.
So you say you like every Tool track?
Okay, every actual song, I'll say that.
Okay, because I was going to say
No, yeah, there's a lot
LA Municipal Court.
of. Well, okay, but if you listen long enough, you get Maynard's dick. So
I know.
so yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fluff, a lot of filler, and a lot of stuff, especially on Onima. Onima is actually probably my second favorite album, but they put a filler track between every single song, and that was annoying. That did really get annoying. But once you get past that, and you got songs like Stinkfist and Eulogy and Third Eye, it's just such a good album. And I did actually shell out money for the Salival box set several years ago. I think I got it for pretty cheap. I got it for like $45. So I did get my hands on that. I was pretty stoked.
Chance, something's going on with your mic.
Okay, is it better?
Yeah.
There we go.
Better, worse.
It was getting loud and loud and loud.
I'm telling you what, Judgment Day, Skynet,
Yeah.
interfering.
It's here. You know, I actually put a Skynet picture up on my Facebook on like my cover photo, and it got taken down. I was like, what the hell? It's like,
Are you like
Skynet.
sitting next to a microwave?
It's boosting up again, yeah.
I'll back up. How about that?
I think it must be a short in the cord, maybe a short in the wire. Because at times it sounds great, and at other times it kicks in all of a sudden.
I'm a pretty intense speaker, so maybe it's just my voice.
Unplug it and plug it back in again, because that worked last time.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gone. Oh, it's back.
Better, worse. I don't hear this. I mean, I don't know.
Of course you don't hear your gun. He who smelt it dealt it.
There. It sounds...
There we go.
Confucius say, man who fart in church is sitting in pew.
Ah.
Now keep your head perfectly still. You can't move or anything. Just have to stay like this for the next 2 hours.
Alright, sounds good.
No.
Speaking
But,
of... Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just wrapping up my Tool conversation.
Yeah. Well, before we wrap up the Tool
Solo
conversation,
stuff.
you talked about the Salival box set.
Yeah.
I have the Salival box set, but in 2002, I think it was, I went and saw the movie The Last Samurai. That was the most expensive movie ticket I ever purchased because while I was in the movie theater, my car got broken into and CDs got stolen, and one of those CDs was the Salival CD. And now I have the box set with no CD.
That sucks.
And I've searched on eBay. I'm like, please, just someone just be selling just the CD.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
Oh, Chance. Oh, Chance.
Now I'm getting a windstorm in my ear.
It's like you're in a. It's like you're in a. Are you on an airplane?
Let me search around for a different mic.
We'll just do a little pause real quick. Figure it out.
Hello?
Hello.
Better, worse?
Better in that there's not buzzing. Worse in that it kind of sounds like you're talking through your hands like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um.
And every time you breathe, it's like it's like a gale force wind.
Well, I breathe heavy anyway, so... Yeah, let me try it. So, hold on.
And you sound like 10 years younger.
I'm on my phone now, so...
You're on your phone.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I can't get this crap to work, so...
Do you happen to have,
Can you put it on...
like a smartphone?
Yeah, I have an iPhone.
Okay.
Doesn't mean that it's good though.
What were you gonna say, Dustin?
Well, how do you do yours through your phone when you use your phone? 'Cause
Oh, I would just talk through the like I'm on a phone call. And did it sound okay in mine?
yeah, it always sounded fine, but like he sounds like literally on a phone.
How about now?
You sound.
Ooh, perfect.
Say again. Talk again. Again.
Hello, 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 hello.
You sound fine. Beautiful. Wonderful. No yelling on the bus.
Well, this is just me, like, just straight up talking on my phone, no headphones, no headset. This is just me sitting on the phone. So we'll go with this.
Okay.
Are you cool with it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it sounds fine that way.
Are you using the Wi-Fi though?
Well,
I
I'm
don't
just
want-
using, yeah,
don't want-
whatever.
I don't want to burn your 3G minutes or.
Oh no, I got Wi-Fi. Yeah, we're good.
Well, we're actually recording as we speak because anytime I click on anything, iFree Skype recorder just starts recording. So.
Yeah.
Where were we at?
You were talking about how your stuff got stolen out
Oh, yeah.
of your car.
Oh yes.
And let me adjust in the beanbag.
Oh my god. I'm losing my mind.
All right.
Oh,
I think I'm
Jesus.
good.
I want you to know that I'm leaving this beanbag shit. I mean, like, I'm just, yeah.
I want to hear how loud it is. I can't
It's
believe
going to be on the podcast. We're
It's
starting.
pretty obnoxious.
Yeah. So anyway, welcome back, guys. Technical difficulties, and we've got that solved now. But I'll finish up my story real quick. So went to this movie, saw the movie, came out. My passenger side window was busted out. Had a binder of CDs. I had like 300 CDs in it, stolen. Lost my Salival CD, and I can't find another one on eBay. I just want to find another CD on eBay. Just the CD, so bad because I already have the rest of the box set.
Is that
Did
worth
you
a
get-
lot of money?
Huh?
Is that set worth a lot of money or something?
It's like $70 or $80.
Oh wow.
It's worth more than
Yeah.
than you actually get. I mean, we say box set, but really, I mean, there's just a
It's a DVD and a little booklet.
yeah. I mean, it's really not like a crazy box set. And I actually have the VHS version, which is, I think, actually even a little more rare.
Yeah.
But I found the listing on eBay when I got it, you know, just like right after the guy listed it with a buy it now price of like $40. So there was a limited run, you know, and it's out of print, and it's not even really a Tool album. It's like three or four new songs, like or 3 or 4 old songs and a cover or two, and yeah, it's an interesting little album
It was like a little
teaser kind
well,
of.
it's supposed to tide people over until they got their legal issues settled with their record label before they could make the next album.
And then they come back with the next album, and it was just killer.
Yeah.
That's
anyway.
the best one.
But anyway, yeah. So let's God, now we gotta get back into the gear of things. Whew.
I'm in the gear. We can get started.
All right, well get us started, Steven.
Let's see. We can either go into games we've been playing. This could like almost be like a question episode since we got a lot of questions from our viewers, and Chance has a bunch of questions written down. I mean, that could be what makes up this episode. But
yeah,
let's just go ahead and get into the games we've been playing recently. Then we'll get into all that stuff. How's that sound?
And let's not do like the last episode where we literally like it was the entire episode was what we've been playing.
Oh my goodness. I'm looking at my list. I have so many, but I'll make them quick and simple. But I can go first and get it out the way, I guess, unless we want to let our guests go first.
No, go ahead.
All right. Games I've been playing recently. Right when we finished the last podcast, like the next day or two, I beat Adventure Time because AI's King, why'd you steal our garbage for the 3DS? Like Dustin can agree with it. You can beat it in one day. It's that quick, that short. Really fun adventure
one
game.
Setting.
Yes, one setting. But it's a fun game. It's enjoyable if you like platforming adventure games. I hear Zelda 2 all the time. That's what it's compared to. So played that. I'm getting some echo now on my headphones, but I can deal with it. I'm just hearing someone else through their speaker.
Chance really did bring the Doom. The Doom.
It's okay though. I could deal with it. Next game I beat, Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance. I mentioned in the last podcast I was playing. I went ahead and beat that. It was I didn't do a video on it because I can't tell you what the story was. I have no idea what's going on. So just watch Dustin's video on Kingdom Hearts 3D because All I can think is I was in someone's dream the whole time. I don't know. I don't know what's going on in the game, but it was a fun action RPG. I really enjoyed the combat in this game. The raising of the pets, Dustin, I didn't think was too bad. It wasn't too tedious or anything.
It just wasn't necessary.
No, it wasn't, and there were some. I did keep one pet all the way from the beginning, and he ran out of like stuff to fill points up for. Like he wouldn't level up anymore, and he's sitting on like 500 points to put in, and I got nowhere to put him. So it kind of like wants you to be training other
Yeah.
pets in there, or spirits. Is that what they're called? Spirits in that game?
Yeah, spirits.
Dream eaters. I don't know. But still, I thought it was a fun game, and I like how they can fill you in and update you on, all the other past Kingdom Hearts games and those little like scrolls and stuff you find, or
Yeah, the glossaries or
yeah, the glossaries. There you go. So that's a pretty cool addition because that will clarify and kind of catch you up to speed with the Kingdom Hearts series. So I'm not as big as a fan into the series anymore as I thought I once was back when the first ones came out. But maybe when finally Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out, it'll be some exciting stuff again. I'd really like to see summons come back. Like I want to bring Dumbo by my side again and summon him to do moves and all that sorts of stuff. So I'm still waiting for that to come back, but it's still a fun game. Let's see. What else? Oh, yes. Legend of Zelda series, very first one for the NES. But I was playing it on my 3DS. And this was my first time going through the very first Zelda game ever. Like I said probably earlier, like NES games, they can be intimidating to me. I really don't want to get into it unless I know I can beat it because they're just so raw back then. Like they'll say, "Here's your sword, go at it and go beat these dungeons." And I kind of need like Final Fantasy 13. I need you to hold my hand sometimes and just tell me where to go. And Legend of Zelda, it's just a map there that doesn't tell you what dungeon to go in first. I couldn't imagine going through this game as a kid when you're going in a dungeon and you get halfway through it and you realize, oh wow, now I can't go through this dungeon. Did you play this game when it first came out or anything? Legend of the
No.
very first Zelda.
I was pretty little when it first came out.
Okay.
I was probably still an infant, but I did play it fairly young. And more than that, though, I watched it played a lot because my dad would play it for hours and hours and hours. So I pretty much knew where everything was without ever actually even picking up the controller.
See, I don't like trial and error gaming. I'm not a fan of it. I want to know where I'm going to go and know that that's the spot I'm going to. Are you into that kind of stuff, Dustin? You don't mind like playing through a level 6 times to get it down, or how are you doing stuff like that?
It depends on. I mean, it depends on how good the game is. Like, the game like Braid.
Yeah.
I was playing it over and over again to figure out those levels, but like one
Like
of the
Mega
games,
Man, I can deal with.
Yeah.
Limbo, stuff like that, I can deal with.
but like a game I'm playing right now, Paper Mario Sticker Star. If I can't, I mean, I'm in this mansion in the frozen part of the world there, and if I can't figure it out, then I just go online for a game fac, and I'm like, I'm done. I don't have
Yeah.
the time to waste on this. So it just depends on the game, really.
Exactly, and I couldn't imagine like the game like Zelda. I mean, it's not too overly complicated once you get the feel of things. But I couldn't imagine just trying to go through it maybe at the age of 8 trying to figure it out. But I was playing that for the first time, and I got all the way up. I believe there's 9 dungeons with the final boss dungeon, and I think I got all the way up to dungeon 8. And I actually purchased a 3DS XL. So I went to transfer all my stuff over to the XL, and I lost my save point for the game. So I'm done with all the way at Dungeon 8. Don't know if I'm going to get right back into it again immediately to play it, because it's not that long of a game. But, man, it was a blast playing through Zelda for the first time. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. And but I won't spend all day harping on it. I did play that one. Like Dustin, I'm playing Paper Mario Sticker Star as well. I'm up to about almost near the end of the third world. But I'll let Dustin talk about Sticker Star since he's probably further along in it. And since The Hobbit just came out, fantastic movie in my opinion. Don't care what Rotten Tomatoes says, 65%. I think it's a fantastic movie. Have you seen it yet, Chance?
No,
Are
I
you a
haven't.
fan of Lord of the Rings?
I'm a big fan, but I haven't seen it yet.
Awesome. And I know, Dustin, you've seen it and loved it, right?
Yeah, but I do admit that there are parts that are kind of padded out. Like they spend way too much time at Bag End, way too much time.
They do a lot of overhead aerial scenic shots.
Yeah.
They want you to know that it's a beautiful world they're in a lot in this movie, but they're trying to make 3 movies out of it, so I'm cutting them a break. The more Lord of the Rings movies, the happier I am, in my opinion.
Now, I like the extra stuff that they threw in, like the scene where Gandalf and Saruman, they're all talking at Rivendell, because
Oh yeah.
that stuff was in the appendices of the book Lord of the Rings instead of in the Hobbit, but it takes place during so I like some of that stuff that they're thrown in, but it's just like there's parts where you're just like, come on, can we move on from this?
But it still had some good action and stuff in it, though. But it does have parts where I think they could have cut a good maybe 45 minutes to an hour out the movie if they wanted.
Yeah.
But anyways, back onto the games. I was in a Lord of the Rings kick, and I have Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers and Return of the King for the GameCube, and never played them back in the day. And you just hear a lot of positive things about how they're great action hack and slash games. So I started up Lord of the Rings: Two Towers, and I'm having a blast playing through that. It's just like playing through the movie for the most part, The Two Towers. I like how they'll start off with a movie scene and then they slowly blend it into a video game scene until you're just right into the action. You level up and you get experience in it to unlock new moves and combos for your characters. And you can play as 3 characters, as Legolas, Gimli, or Aragorn in the game, with a secret playable character once you beat the game with all of them. But I'm about halfway through playing with Aragon, and I'm really loving that game. It's a fantastic hack and slash beat 'em up style game. So if you're into that type of style, you should definitely play that. Also in the same kind of genre with hack and slashing, I finally started up East Origins. Didn't have it finished in time though. It's not going to be in my. I recorded my top 10 games of 2012 today, and it's not going to be in there just because I've only played it for about 2 hours, and I don't want to put something in there. I've only played for 2 hours, but I'm loving it so far. I've never played an East game on the PC. I know Oathfell Gone was on the PC and stuff, but playing it with a controller, I think it looks amazing, and it sounds great to me. The first couple of tracks I know in your discussion video, Dustin, you said the music's not quite up there with some of the other earlier East games, and you're kind of right so far on that point. The first couple of tracks I've heard, the very first track's amazing, like the intro stuff, but so far the music's just kind of so-so, but I'm sure it'll get a little bit better throughout the game. But I've been loving it so far. East Origins, fantastic game. And lastly, like probably everyone here, almost Mega Man vs. Street Fighter, downloaded for the PC that came out for free. What was it, 17th, 18th it came out? Not too sure. I can't even beat one boss in it, so I don't have much to say on it. It's a really tough game. It's awesome that they came out with it, but I'm looking for a boss fact or which boss I should take first. And Aerodynamics told me today, like, Chun-Li first.
Yeah,
so.
Chun-Li first.
Yeah. Well, someone told me Blanca the first time, and I was like, that was a tough fight.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing, all the stuff I've been playing, and I'll pass it on to Chance.
All right. Well, if you've watched like my last 3 or 4 videos, you'll know that I've been playing Splatterhouse for the Xbox 360 almost exclusively. I keep saying this. I don't know what it is about the game because, quite frankly, I'll admit it's really repetitive, and I can understand what everybody says. Everybody that gives this game kind of a negative-ish review. I get what they're saying, I really do, but I don't care. It's such a fun game. It is, your typical hack and slash, and you gain experience from, killing a lot of things and getting blood, and the blood gives you points, and then you can upgrade the moves and things like that. And if you're familiar with the Splatterhouse games, it's a reimagining of the originals. It's not supposed to be a remake, and that's the biggest thing I think that people should just realize right away before they judge this game, because quite frankly there are a lot of Splatterhouse purists out there that were really like kind of peeved when this game came out. But it's a reimagining. It's a new thing with the 3D, it's a third-person hack and slash, and I don't know. It's a very cool game, I think, and I'm actually on my second playthrough now. I beat it last week, and I just started it up again last night, actually, and I'm almost done with it today. I've been playing it a lot, and
Yeah,
it's really really easy the second time through, even on the harder difficulty, just because you know the enemy's weak spots. See that was the problem, not really a problem, but the reason it would take longer the first time through is just figuring out exactly how to beat certain enemies and the patterns. They don't necessarily take patterns. I don't know. They are predictable though, and there is a method to defeating the harder ones, in quicker. And one of the cool things is when you do start a new game, you get to keep your skills, everything that you cashed in your points for, your experience points for the first time through. You get to keep all that. So when you play through the second time, you're using moves in the very beginning of the game that you wouldn't have unlocked until way later. So I mean, it is a lot easier the second time through. I'm playing it
that's
on the second difficulty, and there's a lot of collectible items that you can pick up. Most of them are pictures, pieces of pictures of your girlfriend Jen, and they are risque. So don't play this around children. And there's a lot of foul language in the game. And there's also like different. There's these gramophones laying around, and you go through and you listen to them. And there's actually quite a few achievements to the game if you're playing on 360. I don't know the how the PS3 does all that stuff. I don't know if there's like achievements and things like that because I actually don't have a PS3. But yeah, I'm just trying to collect all those different things and try and get a more complete playthrough the second time through and kind of get some of those achievements out of the way. I'm having so much fun with it that I don't realize how much I'm playing it, and
I was
especially because it's relatively a short game.
I said I was on Halo 4 last night and I saw you on and it's like, ooh, what's he playing? And it said Spider Housing. I was like, hey, hold on, he did a video last week on this thing. He's doing still playing the game. But that's
Yeah,
awesome that you're trying to get everything out of it. That's
yeah,
a lot of times these days a game isn't sucking me in to where, ooh, I want to play through it again. It's
yeah.
kind of rare that that happens, or you just don't have the time you want to do it. So it's
Right.
awesome you're doing it. I mean, it sounds like the perfect holiday game. Foul
Yeah,
language,
yeah,
blood. I
yeah.
mean,
It's great.
nudity. It's awesome for the
It's wholesome
holidays.
fun. I want my wife to come up here and watch me play and all that stuff. But but really though, it's really fun. And I saw you commented on my video about it,
I'm
and
definitely. I'm getting
it's
it.
just
Get it.
I would suggest getting this. I really do. But at the same time, like I said, here I go talking about Front Mission Evolved and how great it is,
Ah.
and
Pum
then
pum
and
pum. It's
Dustin
going
plays
down.
it and just contradicts everything that I said about the game.
I was laughing so hard when Dustin's
Well, I
video
was
came out.
too. I mean, I had a hoot nanny with it. I just laughed so much at how hard it was, and I don't have any idea if it has anything to do with the difference between the Xbox and the PS3,
I was
but I
wondering
didn't
that.
have this
Yeah.
problem that you did, honestly. Like with the pushing the thumbsticks in.
Yeah.
I really didn't have that problem with that game, and so I mean it was. I mean I laughed at your rage,
Well,
but
it might be the controllers because I do notice that when I play PS3 games, I have a tendency, even PS2 games, I have a tendency to push those sticks too hard and click the button.
I think it's the
Whereas,
location too, honestly,
yeah,
because they're both down low, and on the Xbox the left thumbstick is above the D-pad.
yeah.
I think I don't know. I think it helps. I mean, I'm not against the PS3. I actually really want one. It's just I'm just so used to the Xbox, and and from what I understand, I've never even touched a PS3. The controller is virtually the same as the PS2 controller, isn't it?
For all
Oh
intents and
yeah,
purposes, yeah.
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 So, yeah. I mean, I'm not playing Front Mission Evolved right now, but I played it recently and I did beat that one. But I'm not going to talk about it because Dustin will just shoot me down. But,
He did do a discussion video on it, you guys.
yeah,
Just go check
yeah,
out his videos on
both
it.
have videos.
It's not so much a discussion video as it is just me yelling at the camera.
But for everyone else, I would say, as far as Front Mission Evolved goes, it's cheap enough that you could probably find a used copy for next to nothing. So yeah, I would suggest it. I mean, it's good, especially for a gamer like me who I'm not so caught up on, whether or not it's I don't know, true to the Front Mission series or even up to par with the rest of Square Enix stuff. I really just don't care. I thought it was an entertaining game. Um, but back to my actual games that I'm actually playing list.
Yeah.
I recently picked up an Xbox 360 game called El Shaddai: Ascension of Metatron. It's an interesting game. I haven't put much time into it. Um, you are some sort of a god sent person, immortal as in you don't age. I don't know if you're immortal as in you can't get hurt, but I've died a lot, so my guess is that you can die. But you're sent, by God and guided by the archangels to come to Earth and bring back these seven fallen angels that are hiding. They've put up some kind of a veil, and God can't see them from heaven, so He sends you to go get them and bring them back, bind them and bring them back. It's an interesting concept for a game, and the reviews I've seen talk about like how visually awesome it is. It's pretty cool. I don't know, everywhere just looks like there's snow and ice on everything. So I mean, it's some really great visuals. It's a hack and slash. The weapon you use is very interesting. It's called an arch, and you use the weapon, and then as you're fighting these evil spirits, the weapon itself like takes some of the darkness into it. So you have to purify it every now and then, and so it's strange, but it's got some RPG elements. It's not necessarily an RPG as far as I can tell, but it's fun. I'm having a good time with it. I haven't put much time into it. I'm actually probably going to put that back in after I get done with Splatterhouse again. I've also been playing a little bit of Gears of War. I'm very new to the series. I'm actually really new to third-person shooters in general. I'm having fun with it. I played in Gears of War 2 actually, although I think I am going to stop because I did recently pick up Gears of War 1 for next to nothing. I paid $3 for it, a used copy at GameStop, and I thought that was pretty cool. So I probably will go back and play the first one, just because I don't know how long the games are. I'm hoping they're not like too long, but I have no idea. So I mean, I don't have to explain Gears of War, that they've been out long enough. Everybody kind of knows. Gears of War, Trails in the Sky, for the PSP.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm not very far into it yet, and I got reasonably, far into the conversation in the very beginning of the game. It's kind of a slow start, and then my battery died, and I had to save. So, and there's like a 5-minute cutscene, like in the beginning, like of the opening intro of the game, and it's really awesome to watch. But I didn't want to watch it a second time, but apparently I had to. So I haven't actually put that much time into it, but it's high on my list of things to get busy with, because I think it's going to be a really fun game. Um, Black for the Xbox. It's a really cool first-person shooter. It kind of predates a lot of the Call of Duty kind of stuff. I think Call of Duty 1, 2, and 3 were out, but 4 wasn't out yet, obviously, because it was on the 360. But it's really cool. A lot of high action. There's just lots of things blowing up, lots of shooting. It's a really great bare bones first person shooter. It's very fun. There's not a lot to it. There's no multiplayer, no co-op, so it's really a no BS kind of game, and it's really simple. And I think that the Call of Duty series really took a lot from that game. I think, in the gameplay. I think it's just a really good game. I can't describe it much more than that. I mean, it's just a first-person shooter, that's pretty simple. Everything blows up.
I'll say, yeah, I played that one. Man, I think near the beginning of the year on PS2. I think what was the revolutionary thing with that, like your bullets would ricochet, so they
Yeah,
could bounce off metal and hit somebody. And
it's
the other thing with it was, man, it was early on in the game. I was in a wooded area, and it wasn't just like very linear. You had multiple paths, like you could just go
yeah,
anywhere to get to
yeah,
the end. It
exactly.
wasn't like here's a hallway, go this way. And I thought that was pretty cool with it too. And the guns sounded great in the game. I thought they
Yeah,
sounded amazing.
I think that's one of the coolest parts. Is it kind of it's one of the first ones to kind of step away from the cartooniness of video games and really make it almost kind of a real experience. I mean, obviously it's still a video game, not real
Yeah.
at all, but they really, I think it's one of the first person shooters to really take it seriously. Um, I don't know, that may be way off, but that's just the way I feel when I played it. Um, yeah, and you're absolutely right. It does have, it's got some really cool elements, and the fact that you have a silencer and you can take it off and put it on, at different times, when you need
Hmm.
it or don't need it, for range, you take it off, and for, stealth, you would put it on. It just, just things like that, and you could carry it around with you, and yeah, it's kind of a cool game. The one thing I hated about it though is you can't jump. There's no jump.
Yeah, no
If
jumping.
if there is, I can't figure out which button it is. But there's not really a lot of times that you would need to jump, but it's just one of those things. It's just there should be a jump button. But yeah, playing that in a little bit. I haven't played it in a while, but I'm probably a third of the way through the game, and I just need to go ahead and throw it in and finish it up. And also, sorry, I'm got a lot of games I'm playing apparently. Dragon Warrior 2, I'm kind of playing that one too. I've kind of put it down a little bit. I'm playing it both on the NES and the Game Boy Color at the same time, which is kind of dumb. But I'm actually surprisingly like in the same exact spot on both of them, and I started them at really different times, and I put them both down at the same time, and I thought that was kind of interesting. But it's a really great series, fast becoming one of my favorites. Um, I can't get over how much I really liked the first one, both on the Game Boy Advance and the NES equally. I mean, I know they're the same game, but they were different enough that they were both an equally enjoyable experience. And lastly, Black Ops 2, I've been playing zombies a lot. Mostly solo. I'm not really into playing online as much with the zombie mode, just because people make really bad decisions, and it just makes me
Yeah.
mad. So I tend to just play it by myself. It's one of the things that with Call of Duty, I'm not like a very big Call of Duty fan. I bought Black Ops 2, and it's the first Call of Duty game I bought since World at War came out, and I only bought World at War because of the zombies, the Nazi zombies is what it was called then. I was excited to play that, and sure enough, when I got it, I that's all I played pretty much. I played through the campaign partially. I didn't finish it, but I played the zombies all the time, and my friends and I would get together and just have a really great time playing multiplayer with that. We'd have like tournaments, and where we would see how far we could get on a solo mission, and then the first person out had to sit out or whatever. First person to die had to sit out or whatever. I don't even remember how we did it exactly, but yeah. And then so when the Black Ops 1 came out and it had the zombies, I wasn't very interested. But then Black Ops 2 came out just like last month, and I bit the bullet. My brother-in-law is a big fan of the game, and he plays it quite a bit. And I had some other friends who were really into it, so there's like, buy it, buy it, buy it. So I caved into peer pressure, and I bought it. So that's
There
about
you
it.
go.
That's about all I've been playing. I haven't played much Halo 4 because I kind of got tired of the multiplayer. I don't know why. I just kind of got tired of it. I wanted to do some Spartan Ops. I put it in last night, and I was going to do some Spartan Ops, but I just felt bad for not playing Halo 2 yet. So I play Halo 2 and 3 before I can delve into anything else with 4. I don't want anything to get ruined. I don't know how I've avoided it this long. Yeah,
Yeah,
I still
they
don't
just
know
had they
anything.
had the new maps released for it, and they're not all that special, so you're not missing much out on that. But
I feel better then. So
yeah.
I'm really done this time.
All right, Dustin, finish it off for us.
Okay, well, like Chance, I did play Front Mission Involved, and I really, really wanted to like the game. I was really having a good time in the early stages, and then I got to a later point in the game. It's where you have the hover boots. Your feet. They take away your legs, they give you that hover suit, whatever it is. And I just could not control that fucker worth anything. Like, it was just, I would like move the control stick a little bit, and he would just fly across the screen.
Yeah,
And
I didn't have that problem. I must be the difference between the controllers.
yeah, well, I mean, I have never in a game messed with the analog stick sensitivity, and like this game, I was constantly going into the menu and trying to adjust the sensitivity of the sticks to try to get them to work right, and I just could never get a sweet spot where my reticule was moving fast enough and yet not flying completely all over the stage or all over the screen. So I shelved it. Maybe I'll go back to it sometime. I don't know.
I'm surprised you didn't break it.
No, I'm not gonna break
Snap
it.
the disc in half.
I'm not a savage, but I also played Adventure Time and I loved it. But I do admit that if you're not a fan of Adventure Time, it might be prudent to wait till it gets really cheap because it is an incredibly short game. I think you can beat it in maybe 6 hours, something like that. So yeah, you could set and do it in one afternoon. What else? I got my Neo Geo X. Yeah, and I've been playing a lot of games on that. Trying not to play Metal Slug because I've played Metal Slug so many times throughout the years that I just need to start playing some of these other games on there. Last Resort is a great shmup on there. I really enjoy playing Last Resort.
I've never played anything for a Neo Geo, honestly. And I saw your video, and I've watched a couple other videos about the Neo Geo X, and I just want one so bad.
Yeah. Well, go out and get. There's an SNK Arcade Collection 1 for like the Wii, PS2, and PSP. I think it's on there as well, and it has a lot of great Neo Geo games. A lot of the games that are on this, that are built into this system, are on there. So that'd be worth your time. And then there's also
Metal Slug looks so awesome, and I've never played it, and I feel like I'm really missing out.
Well, for that you want to get the Metal Slug anthologies because that has all of them except for Metal Slug 7, which is.
Don't they have that on the PSP?
Yes.
That's probably what I'll get.
Yeah. So been having a fun time with that. Downloaded some games on my 3DS from Level 5's Guild 1, and that was Liberation Maiden and Crimson Shroud. And I did game discussion videos for both of those. Liberation Maiden is this really awesome, like, mech action shooter game. Really short, doesn't overstay its welcome. The controls are really, really good for touchscreen controls. And it's from Suda51, so it has that craziness to it that he always brings to these games. Crimson Shroud. Now, Chance, do you have a 3DS?
I don't.
Okay. When
I
you
need
get
one.
Yeah, because this is a game that would be right up your alley. It's an RPG created by the character designer for Final Fantasy 12 and Vagrant Story. So when you see like the character models and stuff, they look a lot like they're from those games.
Is this Liberation Maiden you're talking about?
No, this is Crimson Shroud.
Okay, yeah, I watched both of your reviews today. I watched them back to back, so I couldn't remember which one was which.
And this game is, oh my God, Steven. I know that's you opening a can of pop.
Again, I had the mute on. Sorry, I went to go get my dog. I don't know if y'all saw the message on there or not, because she was barking like a nut outside.
Yeah, that's so funny.
The stupid mute button. Anyways.
Yeah, anyway. But it seeks to emulate like playing a tabletop RPG, pen and paper RPG, so much so that the character models are actually like figures. They're standing on like bases, like D&D miniatures are. So it's really awesome, and you have to roll dice to make your checks and things like that. And I had a blast with that.
Yeah, I liked your review a lot. Your game discussion, it sounded really awesome. Actually, both games sounded really awesome. So 3DS is one of those things that I just been putting off just because I have a DS, and I just don't want to shell out the money because at the time there just wasn't enough games out. When I had money to buy it, there wasn't enough games out to justify it.
Yeah.
Like
And
when
now
it
it's
was
almost like
fairly
there's too
new.
many games. And you don't have enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now that I've wasted time and didn't buy it, it's like, oh my gosh, there's just too many. I think you will agree. I think all of the good handheld games are coming out for the 3DS and
Yeah.
not the Vita.
Yeah.
I don't have a Vita, nor do I really want one for that same reason. It's like, good grief, why would I want to spend the money on that? And there's nothing for it.
Yeah. I think there is stuff for the Vita, and Steven can probably attest to this more, but it's kind of it is very few and far between.
And I don't understand it because to me it should be as good as the PSP is.
Yeah.
Really, as far as the games that are being put out. It's like, what are people waiting for? It's I just don't understand why it's not. And Sony wonders why they're not selling as many.
Well, it's because they don't. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like a chicken before the egg. Developers don't want to develop any games for it because no one's buying any of them.
Right.
But no one's buying it because there's no games for it.
Well, and I don't know. Does the Vita has a touchscreen, doesn't it?
It has
Yeah.
two.
It has two.
Two.
Okay, so there's no reason that they can't like dual platform. A lot of these games are coming out for the 3DS,
Right.
but they're not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't. That's what I don't get.
I think a lot of the great ones on the 3DS are their like exclusive ones right now.
Right,
Their
yeah, I
franchise
guess.
flagship ones. But
Yeah,
I actually can attest to it. Vita has nothing right now. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
there's no good games right now.
I'm not get. I mean, I kind of want to get Gravity Rush, but like I'm not going to pick one up until either Ease Celceta comes out, which I don't know. Maybe Xseed has kind of talked about it a little bit. And then there's always the Trails in the Sky second chapter. Is it going to be on the Vita? Is it going to be on the PS3? Where's that going to be? So.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned it to you, Dustin. Like I live kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I'm an hour away from civilization, really, but the closest Walmart about 12 miles away. They don't even have a Vita section. Like you can't even see the Vita games. I mean, they're in there, but they're just like on their side, just shoved in the back of the glass case. I mean, they're in the same case as the PS3, and you can't even like see what they are. So it's just, I mean, they're not even trying.
Hopefully Sony is. I mean, I know they're gearing up for PlayStation 4, and hopefully they don't. It's like they keep making the same fucking mistake over and over again. It's like the PS2 came out and it's like it had all these great features and it sold like crazy. So they're like every other system has to be this like Swiss Army knife of a system. And both the PS3 and the Vita, they're insanely powerful, but it's that with that power becomes a huge price tag, and it's like, do people really want to, if Sony releases another $600 system, they're done.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and that's really what turned me off of the PS3 for so long. It's like I do not want to spend that kind of money, and they're finally now to a fairly reasonable amount, where I could find a used one for like $100 or $150, and I would be willing to do that. Hell, I would even spend the $250 for a new one, if I thought that I would get a lot of good out of it. But the problem is I'm so in love with the 360 that I would only buy the exclusives. I really don't think that I would buy PS3 games that I could buy on the 360.
And I will take back, like, there are some games, like Hot Shots Golf, I enjoyed that. Ragnarok Odyssey, like Dustin was saying, Gravity Rush. The demo was pretty cool that I played. Persona 4 is out now for people who are into that, which I think I might give a try. I know I've had my say about the SMT series, but I think I want to give it a try. But other than that, I mean, looking forward to, like Dustin said, there's East, and I was looking forward to the Phantasy Star Portable, the second one coming out. But other than that, there's just really, man, there's just like nothing. I mean, you can get Mortal Kombat on it, Rayman Origins, unless you already have it. But I mean, there's really nothing too much out there on it right now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, were you talking about your game still, Dustin? Before I interrupted you with my soda pop?
Your soda pop. Yeah, so really, other than that, only three other things. Street Fighter Cross Mega Man. Really enjoy that. The stages feel a little bit unbalanced. Like, it feels like they're way too hard for some reason. And it's almost like all the jumps are just barely jumpable. You know what I mean? Like you run and you jump, and then it's like more times than not I'm falling into these pits. I can't stick the jump for some reason. Is everybody there?
Yeah.
Okay, it just got really quiet.
I don't know
And
Chance here, but I'm here.
Chance, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I accidentally muted my mic.
Oh Jesus.
Oh, so your mute worked. Cool.
Yeah, so I could sit on a
Maybe-
beanbag if I wanted to.
Maybe you should instruct Steven on how to use the mute button. I really love when you go to the boss battles though, and you see all the. I mean, for 8-bit characters, those little Street Fighter guys have insane animations.
Mhm.
And like the first time Ryu threw a super fireball at me, I nearly dropped the controller because I was like, "What?" You know, it was really a lot of fun.
You've gotten that far? Oh snap!
Yeah, I've beat Chun-Li and Ryu. The bad thing about Ryu is you get the fireball as your weapon, but he shoots it out of the Mega Buster. Like I wish he would have made like the actual Hadouken, like because Chun-Li's weapon is the lightning kick, and he actually does like the kick. But like for Ryu's fireball, he just it's like you're shooting a normal shot and then the fireball comes out. So it's kind of.
I'm sorry this fan who put his heart and soul in it couldn't make you happy, Dustin.
Well, I
Sorry.
mean, it just. But on another note, this game has so much more creativity and love in it than anything Capcom has ever put out in like the last I don't know how many years.
I would agree.
And you can just feel that this is a fan-made game because if like the Suits made this, it would just be terrible. So, and then other than that, Sticker Star, still playing Paper Mario Sticker Star. It's kind of a slog though. I like it, but at the same time, I kind of don't. So I'm taking breaks from it every now and then. But and then finally, I just threw in Batten Kaitos, the first one for the GameCube, and enjoying it so far. Usually, I don't enjoy games where your attacks and magic are based on cards and a deck, but I think this one does it really well. And it's made by Monolith Soft, who made Xenoblade, so you can kind of see some parallels, but the voice acting is pretty bad in it, I have to admit.
Which
No,
reminds
I
me.
always thought that was like an action RPG. Is it?
No,
so it's
it's
not.
It's turn-based,
Okay.
but the only way, like, you don't equip weapons or armor. You have cards in a deck, so like when you attack, like it'll bring up, like you'll have in your hand you'll have 3 cards. So for your attack, let's just say in your hand you have a sword, a shield, and a healing item. So to attack, you can use that sword, okay, and then it takes that card out of your hand and gives you another one. And then if you're quick enough, you can select another sword card to do a combo.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool. And then when it's the other, it really is turn-based. Like your team takes their turn, and then the enemies take their turn. And like the enemies will line up an attack, and you have to pick a defense item really quick. And if you like pick a shield, you can block that attack and take 0 damage. But you have to be really quick on it. Like it's weird how like during your attack phase, you'll pick cards, and then you can still move your cursor around in your hands on the bottom of the screen. And you want to, after you get your combo while it's going on, you want to quickly move that cursor to a defense item so you have it queued up for when the attack happens. But enemies can also attack you. So, I mean, also combo you. So you really have to think about how you want to use your defense items. Like, do I want to block this first attack? Or, because sometimes you'll block an attack and it's only 1 hit and it's only 1 defense item, so who cares? Some other times the same monster will attack you and then combo you. So sometimes it's better off to let that first hit go by, because it's usually a very weak hit, and then wait for that last hit, which is like, usually 20 points of damage. So it's really an interesting game, and really I think the card mechanic works really well in it, which, like Chain of Memories, Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories had a card system in it, and I didn't really care for it, but I'm really enjoying Batten Kaitos.
Now, I normally see that game for pretty cheap. Did it not get reviewed well or something? Or it just seems like... I think last time I saw it in GameStop it was like $6.99. It wasn't really expensive.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was reviewed well. Like, a lot of the reviews said it was like the prettiest GameCube game, at that time. But I think it's just one of those games that is just not sought after,
Okay. And sorry if you guys hear my dog barking like a nut in the background. I don't know if you did or not.
That's all right. It's better than a beanbag or a can of pop. But yeah, if you find it, I would definitely recommend picking it up.
I think the card game aspect kind of probably turns a lot of people off.
Yeah.
Sounds fun though. That reminds me though, you said it's made by the same people who made Xenoblade.
Yeah.
You know, one of my local-ish GameStops has about 6 or 8 copies of that game.
You need to pick it up real fast.
Well, I know, but God, I just $60 for a game still is tough for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I saw it the other day when I was Christmas shopping.
It's not 60. I thought it was 50. I thought it was
$59.99 is what it had.
$59.99. It's better than 90.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a lot better than 90. And I was actually because I had to ask because I mean they had like several copies of it, and I was like but they were just the empty cases, like they weren't really the actual game. So I said, "Do you guys really have like multiple copies of this?" And he's like, "Yeah, I think so." And he went and looked, and they had like several. He's like, "Yeah, we have a bunch."
Well, see, here's what you do: just blow a big wad of cash on buy them all, and then flip them on eBay.
Yeah.
There you go.
So hopefully after the holidays, it'll still be there, and then I'll finally have a Wii game that I'll actually play because I have a Wii, but I don't play it.
And trust me, you'll be playing it for a very long time.
I hope so.
Oh, yeah. I commend you for being able to do that, Chance, because like I said, you'll buy stuff that's only on the cheap and everything, or 20 and under. That's like your price tag.
Yeah,
and that's awesome how you're able to just wait out for that stuff. Because like even Halo 4, like was that probably you caved in the Call of Duty Black Ops 2 as well? But
yeah, it was right around my birthday,
mm-hmm.
So I had a little bit of extra, birthday money. So I was like, you know what, Halo 4, I have to have it. So I went and bought it at midnight release. First time I ever did that for a game. And then same with Call of Duty. It's like, okay, because I wasn't really going to be going anywhere where I could, search around, I went to Walmart, so I ended up just buying it. But yeah, I don't have like a necessarily like a guideline. I don't just say to myself, I'm not going to spend, over a certain amount. It just always happens that way. Like, and I guess I guess subconsciously I probably do have that guideline. I see the price tag and I'm like, I don't know.
Well, that's a good adult quality to have, I guess.
I shop at Vintage Stock. I don't know if you have those where you're at, Steven. Dustin and I talked about them.
Nope.
We got them around well, depending on the one you're at, I guess. The one in Topeka, which is the closest one to me, they have a really, really great selection, but the prices are not even fair. And it's kind of a bummer. I mean, because you'll get a really good deal on one thing, but then you'll look at original Xbox games or GameCube games that are like over $20. It's like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. Or even a really early Xbox 360 release, will still be in that $20-$25 range. It's like for instance, the orange box. Yeah, you guys familiar with that?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, incredible.
I used to have that game, and it got stolen, and I was so pissed when it did, because that was actually one of my favorites. I absolutely love Portal, and I played the crap out of Team Fortress 2, and I never did get around to playing Half-Life 2, or the chapters or whatever, the volume 1 and 2 that are on there also. But I mean, it still goes for $20-$30, and it's like, that came out so long ago. It's like there's no reason to me that game should be so expensive, other than it's still sought after, and that's the way they price it. I've seen Dragon Warrior 4 in there a couple of times, for right around $50. I've seen Final Fantasy 3/6 for $40, and it's so hard for me to spend that much money on one game when I can take that same amount of money and buy 3 or 4.
Oh, so, you just remind me of Grub Gun's newest.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say that.
Oh my goodness.
Sorry. Well, no, I love Grub Gun, but yeah. So I mean, but at the same time, I don't just buy just anything though. If there truly is nothing that I want, I won't buy anything. Like, cool. If nothing that I want, as in nothing that I can afford. Yeah, I won't do it. I'm not into collecting necessarily. I just want to collect games that I want to play. So, but at the same time, I mean, if you don't branch out and take a few risks, how are you ever going to find those hidden gems?
True that.
Chance, did you see the video that we were referencing there?
Uh,
from Grub Gun.
which one?
He got a copy of Final Fantasy 3 for like $2.50.
Oh no, but I saw a comment or something on my feed, and I was like so pissed. Like,
Oh,
oh no.
he got actually a lot of good stuff in that
Yeah.
pickup, not just that one. It was
Yeah, I think it's
insane the
still in.
stuff he
I think
got.
it's still in my watch later
The
queue.
funny thing is like he's like, I don't even know if I want to play this. I'm like,
He doesn't have a Super Nintendo. I don't think he has one. So.
Well, I can send him one. Crap, I got an extra.
he's like, I don't really want to play an RPG right now.
Oh, is it the Famicom one? Like it's titled like Famicom or something like that.
It's before
Yeah.
that one.
Oh,
Before
okay.
that one.
See, I've got several of his in my watch later queue. I get so behind because there's just so many. I follow so many people. It's dumb. And I watch a lot of gameplay videos of like games that I want to play or that I'm going to maybe buy or maybe think about playing. So I'll just like search for a whole bunch of games and just add random gameplay videos to my watch later queue, and then it takes me forever to get through the stuff. And yeah, so there's videos that come out today that I may not watch for a couple weeks.
Well, since we're talking about other YouTubers, why don't I go ahead and get into some questions that the YouTubers have asked us for this podcast? I want to go ahead and answer those.
Sounds good.
Well, our good old friend Mind Eater 100 again. He's like going for the record every episode here with a question. But so glad he's always listening, and we appreciate you. You said his name was his name Anthony?
Yeah.
Yes, appreciate you listening, Anthony, and being here every episode from the beginning. It's been awesome, man.
We're supposed to try to get him on sometime because we figured it out between he and I, and it's like the time difference between here and New Zealand is like if it's like 6 o'clock here, it's like noon there.
Okay.
So it'd be like really easy to do.
Awesome. That'd be great too. But his question was, now that the magazines are going out, hence Nintendo Power, where online do you acquire your gaming information? I think just for me, my main source has been you guys here, YouTube. That's like my number one source for. I really like hearing people's opinions on games, but for new games, I know you, Dustin, you'll send me links to Operation Rainfall. That's starting to become one of my favorite ones to go to now too, because they'll send you that like stuff over from Japan. Hopefully, we'll get over here. Just games that are more like my taste. I got the IGN app on my phone. I'll check that once in a while to see, because they're always constantly updating with stories. A lot of them are stupid ones, but those are pretty much my main ones. So, what about you guys?
Operation Rainfall, YouTube, IGN. I check GameSpot every now and then, but it's really gone down the tubes. So I don't really check it much anymore. What else is there? I like to go to this place called Hardcore Gaming 101. Not really for news, it's more like a retrospective type thing. They cover a lot of old and sort of quirky games. Mm-hmm. You can find a lot of hidden gems on there. There's racketboy.com. If anybody is looking into collecting for a new system, I would definitely suggest going to that site and finding information on, because they do like hidden gems for each system. Best games under $10, best games under $20, that kind of, all these lists. It really is. It's really is good for like collectors to go and see their what's out there. But really, that's kind of it. A lot of it comes from people talking on YouTube or like listen to podcasts or things like that.
Yeah. What about you, Chance? You got anything different from those, or?
No, it's pretty much exclusively YouTube and podcasts. I actually don't go to that many websites. I'm actually I don't use the computer for very much, except for YouTube and Facebook. That's about it. Cool. But for the most part, until recently, I've been really getting obsessed with the Xbox 360. But I do a lot of pretty much just retro gaming. So it's really hard to it would be harder, I guess, to go to find a lot of like websites that I would be interested in reading. Talking about
current game information probably doesn't matter. Yeah, since if you're not playing your stuff,
they don't care about that stuff. And So I just don't seek it out. I mean, I'm sure there's websites out there that I would love, like in like the ones that you guys named. I'm sure that I would like to read those or be into it. But it's not that I don't care. It's just that I haven't followed new games being released, ever really. I mean, it's usually by chance that I hear about a new game coming out. Like it's usually just I see it or I hear somebody talk about it. Like, oh, there's a new that game's out. Wow, cool.
Yeah.
And then then I'll wait another 10 years and then I'll buy it.
And with it being like he was mentioning Nintendo Power, like what a sad day that was when you saw that cover in that issue for the last time of the last magazine coming out, man. It was pretty hard.
I tell you what the saddest thing in that is. Did you get it, Steven?
Yeah, I have it.
Did you read that Nestor comic at the end?
I still haven't read the comic part yet. I'm trying to read through the whole magazine, like everything in it this time, and I'm only about 3/4 of the way through, and I'm really wanting to wait till the end to skip
it wasn't as large as I thought it would be.
Yeah, I was really hoping for like a phone book sized magazine.
Yeah, I was too.
Like screw it, just spend all the rest of the money and go out with a bang. But
no kidding. Yeah, because people bought 3 and 4 copies to keep sealed.
Yeah,
I've seen YouTubers. I don't have a subscription. Or go ahead, James. I'll say I don't have a subscription, and Dustin got that nice note in his. So people, if you bought it in store, I mean, we didn't get that. So that's pretty cool that Dustin had that note, like a farewell letter to hang on to too, for having a subscription. That's pretty neat.
Steven, is somebody texting you because you're turning into a robot?
No, it's just a guy in my voice. No, what's up? Am I sounding okay?
You're kind of cutting out and being robotic.
Who invited Max Headroom?
Something else I forgot about, since we're waiting for Steven to fix his problems. I have a digital subscription to Retro Gamer magazine, and that's always
That's
fun
a really
too.
Expensive one.
That's It's like if you want to get the actual magazine, I think a subscription will cost you $120.
Is that just because it's imported or whatever? Or
yeah, because it's from the UK.
I was gonna say, or is it just that expensive?
Well, I mean, when you go to like Barnes and Noble to buy a copy of it, it's $10 a magazine, which is not that crazy. When you look at like a PlayStation magazine was like $8.
Yeah,
but
I just don't buy that many magazines.
Yeah, but the digital subscription is $45 for a year, which is not that bad.
Yeah, I suppose. But I don't know. I guess I'm just on that bandwagon that says, I want something to hold in my hand if I'm going to pay for it. Yeah. I don't know. I looked into Steam a little bit, and it's just, some reason I just have this like mental block about buying games on Steam or buying games on the Virtual Console. It's just I just don't want to. I don't know what it is. I mean, I think if the price was right, obviously I would probably consider it. $5-10, not that big of a deal. But I don't know. I just like having something to hold, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing of it is, though, with like Steam, like that's the only way to get like an English version of Ys Origin.
Right. Yeah.
And it's not the only way to get To the Moon, but it is a way to get to the moon.
Right, and I like that. I really like the fact that people can put games on Steam, like indie games.
Yeah.
That there isn't going to be a physical release. So I guess I like that aspect of it a lot. That games have a broader reach with stuff like Steam.
Yeah.
I'm counting now, so the same.
Steven, I have no idea what you just said.
Oh no. Man, I brought the Doom too hard.
You brought the Doom friggin' hard.
I should have toned it down a notch.
No, we usually run into this with Steven because he doesn't have like a wireless or like a actual internet connection to his house. Yeah, he just uses a hotspot. Yeah. So he's supposed to be getting. I thought he was supposed to get like actual internet because he lives out in the boons.
The boons. Well, I do too, but there's a local telephone company right around my area that's pretty big about that sort of
there
stuff.
With Steven. Over there with somebody. There with me. Somebody got off here. Looks like Steven got off. All right. Well, let me stop this again. I want to edit like 3 different things together. No. In fact, if I were to go to the ER, I have an automatic 200.
Hello.
Ah!
Test.
Whoa.
Whoa.
That's 100%
Robot.
improved.
Hello?
Hello.
Maybe not.
Hello? Okay, I think we're back. Good.
Do I sound okay or not?
You sound like $1 million.
Now what about
How-
Chance? I don't
How
know.
does $1 million sound?
Sounds like that.
Sounds like Steven.
Okay, we'll see how this goes. I don't know what's going on, but
Okay. Where were
battery's
we?
down to 38% now. So
Oh my god.
I brought the Doom too hard. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
okay, we answered the first question about Nintendo Power Magazine. I can go ahead and just get into the second question here if y'all want.
All right. Well. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay.
This is gonna be so fun to edit.
I don't know how you're gonna be editing the crap out of this one. I feel so.
Okay. Go.
Anyways, after more technical difficulties, this part on my half, we'll go into a second question, and this is from Pedro Martins. Don't know if he's a new listener or not. Name doesn't sound familiar to me, but
Well,
Pedro,
I wonder
thanks.
if it's that thing, because that thing that Google or YouTube keeps making me try to do, but change my name to my real name.
It could be.
It
I
could
don't know.
be somebody that we already have known, but because they had to change their friggin' name. All right.
Or
Go.
it's just a fan of the name Pedro. But anyway, he says, "Hi guys, what are your thoughts on the Wii U? Are you planning to buy it, waiting for a price cut, or waiting for that game that can be a system seller?" Dustin, you can answer this one first this time.
The last two combined. I mean, $350 for a new system is not bad, especially when you consider what the previous generation cost when it first came out. But for the Wii U, there's just nothing out there for it for me right now. I mean, yeah, I could pick up Zombie U. I hear it's an okay game. But other than that, for the Wii U, other than getting Batman Arkham City, because I don't have Arkham City yet, that I'll probably pick that up on the Wii U. But other than that, I look at that launch lineup and I'm like, I'm just not interested.
Yeah. I know for me, it's like this. I think our that game, I know for me and Dustin would probably be Dragon Quest X.
Yep.
Yeah. If it comes here, that looks like it's up in the wind now. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Hopefully it would, but I mean, as soon as that comes out, I'm going in for it. I don't know what's on the horizon here next spring for the Wii U. I don't think there's anything. I know that 1 versus 100. I forget what the Platinum Games game is for it. I really want to play it, but it's not going to be a system seller for me.
The Platinum game, Bayonetta 2?
No, they're making another game too.
Oh.
It's like 100. It's like you got 100 guys. I forget what it's called. P100 was the code name.
Yeah, they just changed the name of it. I don't know what the new one is.
Really wanted to play that, but yeah, there isn't. I gotta wait for that game. Like Dust said, price ain't too bad, but I just need that game.
Once they announce a Zelda, I'm done. I'll be getting it once they announce a Zelda.
Oh yeah, anything like that, yeah, that'd be big. Or Xenoblade Chronicles HD sold me. I'm getting away.
Well, interesting you say that. I'm sorry, Chance. I'm cutting you off here, but they just did an interview. I think with Takahashi, and he said they asked about a possibility of a Xenoblade 2, and he said, I always try to build room for a sequel in every game I make.
Holy crap!
They're supposedly working on a secret project for the Wii U. So I mean, I don't know if it'll be Xenoblade 2, but I mean that was a pretty big hit for them. So
just give me something with Xeno in the front, and I'll be happy. But
well, except for
what about you, Chance?
Except for Xenosaga 2.
I actually have no desire to buy a Wii U, and it's not just because it has nothing to do with the price. It has nothing to do with there not being a good launch title. It's just that the whole system itself, the whole I don't want to piss anybody off, but the whole gimmick of it just doesn't appeal to me. Like just the handheld screen thing, controller, gamepad, whatever you call it. I don't know. It just doesn't look that impressive to me, and I don't know. I haven't tried one. I've never seen it other than on YouTube and stuff like that, and people doing unboxings and stuff, and really, and some other people have said this too. It just based on the console itself and the launch titles and stuff, it just doesn't feel like the next generation yet. It's almost like it's just a little bit too early, and like they should have just waited and just done just a little bit more, so it doesn't just feel like a Wii on steroids. Like, so it's not just a Wii with now a gamepad. So as far as the potential for great games, it's there. It's always there. It's definitely there. So in that sense, yeah, eventually I probably will get one, but it'll be like I just bought a Wii, last month, the first one I've ever had, so it's just not that appealing to me. So for me, it's just not for me.
I think the thing for most Nintendo people at heart, it's not the pad that's what's selling us. I think the main thing, I think we said it before in other podcasts, is it's we want to play that awesome Zelda game in HD. That's like what we're looking forward to. I could care less about the pad. I mean, I hope it works with stuff, but it's all about wanting to play the classic games in HD quality because Nintendo's first party stuff is just always A plus in my opinion. And I think that's the thing that excites me more. I care less about the controller, but that's the thing for me when it just comes to the Wii U. And I talk about it in my top 10 video I did today. I'm still not ready for the next generation. After playing Halo 4, I mean, Halo 4 just, it's gorgeous. I really don't think we need it yet. And it's okay to me that Wii U is only as powerful as it is because I think the stuff these days just, it looks beautiful.
Yeah,
But
I would definitely agree with that. I would say that even not just the the Wii U, but with the Xbox 360 and PS3, there's still a lot of wiggle room, I think, to put out really great games, and it is companies like 343 that these newer up and coming companies that are doing these things, taking risks and things like that are squeezing what every bit out of the current generation. So but all in all, I think it'll be a couple years before the other two make their move. And who knows? Maybe Nintendo's got something else up their sleeve.
I don't know. I thought I heard rumors of next Xbox and the next PlayStation being holiday 2013.
Really?
that's what I was hearing. Yeah, Xbox this fall.
But
maybe I'm way off then.
Rumors.
But
the thing that kind of excites me about the Wii U is I think of it as a consoleized DS, and that seems really cool to me for some reason. I don't know because
We don't know. You're out of your mind, Dustin. No.
Well, you have the two screens there. Just imagine like a consoleized World Ends with You, like World Ends with You 2 on the Wii U.
Oh yeah.
I mean it's doable.
It is.
But I do fear that the Wii U is going to be like the Dreamcast because the Dreamcast came out and everyone's like ooh, and then PS2 came out and everyone's like fuck this thing.
Yeah, I think maybe that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I think that once the next Xbox or the next PlayStation come out, it's just not going to be able to hold up, even with whatever games do come out for it. And there's going to be those games that everybody that's a big Nintendo person is going to do. Everybody's going to buy the Mario games. They're not ever going to have trouble selling those, and the Zelda games, absolutely. And just games like that will sell no matter what. So Nintendo's not going anywhere, But
well, do y'all think the talks of? I mean, we've been talking about a new generation since last year. Of maybe even seeing announcements the past E3 for a 360 or PS3. Do y'all think that's like hurting possible game sales maybe this upcoming year? Like we had The Last of Us coming out for the PS3. Could that be hurt because I mean we're getting talks of new consoles possibly? Or could that be hurting the Wii U? They're like, hey, we might have an Xbox this winter, so who cares about Wii U?
Yeah.
Are people rumoring too early about these consoles? I mean, 2-3 years, we're already talking about a next generation. And I mean, this was like a year or 2 years ago we're talking about it. I don't know if that's hurt things or if it even affects it, but just an opinion. I think it might hurt things if we just keep talking about a next gen. People aren't going to buy stuff for this generation still.
I think, like Chance said, Nintendo's not going anywhere. But I think they're going to have a really hard time. They're going to have to work really hard this year to get that installation base before that happens. Because once those come out, I mean, I will always buy a Nintendo system. And there's people out there that will always buy a Nintendo system. But
They're gonna have to have a huge battery of games to keep up, though.
Yeah, but the thing of it is, like a lot of these kids that are coming up nowadays, like the Xbox is their Nintendo. That's
Yeah.
and Nintendo is just something kind of stupid to them. You
And
know,
Nintendo's generation could be making its way out of gaming now, so
yeah,
they're no longer going to be there for them.
right. Because
So
like
yeah.
my wife was telling me a story of when she was teaching in a middle school about how all these kids would talk about Call of Duty and this one kid was talking about Call of Duty, and like his friends were like, "Well, I never see you on Xbox. Why aren't you playing on Xbox? Where are you? Well, give me your gamer thing." He's like, "Oh, I don't play online. That kind of stuff." And it turns out he was playing Call of Duty on the Wii, and he didn't want to admit to his friends that he had a Wii.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks.
So, I mean, it's strange, like so many people want. I guess it's because I kind of live in a bubble, and like on YouTube, everyone's kind of a retro gamer, and everyone talks about the glory days of there's a bunch of old men sitting around talking about the glory days of their NESs, and
Yeah.
we're so out of touch with that what's actually going on. Back in my day, you had to blow in a cart, and you liked doing it. That
I forget who it was, but that someone left a comment on our last thing. The reason we're hating old or music these days is because we're getting older, so we're gonna hate
True.
new music.
Hey, if liking Justin Bieber means I'm young and hip, then I'm just gonna put a shotgun in my mouth. I'm just gonna call it quits.
But yeah, back to the question. Yeah, just I'm looking for that game. So, and hopefully, maybe this winter, if if the new 360 or something does come out, Nintendo's going to put that Zelda or Mario game out with it. So
Definitely.
hopefully, you'll get that AAA title you need to convince me to buy a Wii U. So, anyways, I'll move on to the next question from Mr. RPG Crazy himself. He says, "What is your favorite RPG character?" And he put in there that he says his is Vivi. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. From Final Fantasy IX is his favorite. So, Chance, favorite RPG character.
Oh man, I was hoping you wouldn't call on me first.
I know. I'm sitting here like.
Well, I got mine.
Gosh.
I'll go ahead and do mine if y'all want.
You go ahead.
Okay. Well, it can kind of be a double-sided answer for me. If I can say like any character that I make in an RPG, I mean that'd be hands down be the one. My World of Warcraft character, shoot, I love that character from back in the day. But if I'm gonna pick a staple character or a character that's actually in a game, I'd probably pick one that's, I mean, fresh in my mind. Might sound stupid, but I'd love Kai so much from 13-2. I think he's such an amazing character, and yes, he's the bad guy. But when you're just talking about a character,
but is he a bad guy?
You made it so great in your video just now. He's such a gray character. I think that's like one of my favorite qualities about him because maybe he's not. And like I said, I see his side of the story in the game, and I mean it makes sense to me. So he's just the way his character was voiced. They picked a perfect voice actor. His look is awesome. I just think his character is awesome. Everything about him is just great. If I could get some type of figurine or something of him, I totally get it. And he's just popping in my mind as one of my favorite characters ever. If I was going to make a top 5 list, he'd definitely be in it. Even though he doesn't have tons of screen time in a game or anything, but I think he's an amazing character, and I'd love to see him like branch out in hopefully other 13 games if it's even possible and stuff like that. So that'd be my pick.
You got one yet, Chance?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
It's pretty tough because I've played a lot of older RPGs where the characters don't really have a lot of personality and they don't really have names other than just what you name them. NES and some of the original like Final Fantasy and Dragon Warrior and stuff like that. I would really have to say I would pick Yuna from Final Fantasy X. Final Fantasy X is actually my favorite Final Fantasy game, and I don't know why. It's just one of those things that I just have to accept that I like the game that everybody hates the most.
I like it with you, buddy.
I think that she is just such a strong character in that she knows, that she knows that she's going to die. Hopefully that's not like a super spoiler. But she still marches forward happily. She tries very hard to smile the whole time, even though she knows, in her heart that imminent doom, is in store for her, and possibly everyone that's with her too. And then everybody else, follows along, and then you've got Titus following along behind her, whining every step of the way, and really, I don't hate his character either, because I can almost understand, with what he's dealing with. He's thrown into a world that he doesn't understand, and he's basically this, spoiled rich kid back in his own world, and he's a superstar, and he doesn't know how to adapt, and he befriends Yuna. Yuna and him hit it off pretty well, and it's their relationship to me is really great, and I'm glad that they spawned a sequel, but I hate the sequel. I hate 10-2 so much, but I do really like Yuna. I think she's a really, really great character.
Cool deal. I want to try to guess at yours, Dustin.
Go for it.
Okay. I could be way, way wrong here.
You probably will be.
I don't want to say it's a Final Fantasy VI character because there's too many. Am I right on that part?
Is it a Final Fantasy?
Is it a Final Fantasy VI character?
No.
Okay. I'm going to say, I think it's from a game you played this year?
No.
Oh, I was going to say Luke from Abyss because you liked his transformation as a character, but I'm wrong. Go ahead.
I am a sucker for female characters in RPGs. I don't know what it is, but for some reason, I always love female characters in RPGs. I mean, honestly,
I didn't know that.
Honestly, like Terra from Final Fantasy VI would be a great one. But the one I have to pick is Lucia from Lunar 2 Eternal Blue. I don't know what it is about her, but there's something about her that's always stuck with me since I played that game, and I love her design. I love the blue hair. I love everything about her. How she's kind of in the beginning very devoid of emotion, but then through the game of interacting with Hero, it really awakens her human side. But I mean, Sophie from Tales of Grace's F. Tyr from Tales of the Abyss. I mean, I could go on. For some reason, there's always that female character in an RPG. Fiora in Xenoblade. There's a big storyline with Fiora and Xenoblade when it got to that point where things are kind of revealed. I was like, "Fuck yes!" because I was just so happy. But I for some reason, I always latch onto a female character in an RPG. But I'd have to say that probably Lucia from Lunar 2 is probably my favorite.
Awesome. All right, and our final question from our good friend Undead Space Monkey 1, where your videos at, man? I hadn't seen a Space Monkey video in a while.
He's been. Did you see the one where he just it was really fucking crazy?
No, I started up where he's walking through a house or something.
Well, that one is kind of. There's one where it's it's literally like a nightmare. There's a ton of edits, and it's just him doing these crazy things with the camera, and it's set to this weird music, and I don't even remember the title of it was, but you need to watch it because it's you feel like you're on drugs.
I gotta watch it. Then
yeah,
I keep waiting for another. What did it sell for on eBay episode? I'm hooked on those when he does it. I wanted to tell him I want to steal his idea and do it for my stuff that I sell. Hey, you mind if I do it for the stuff I sell? But anyways, his question. My question is, what's your guys' thoughts on the release of another Wii system, the Wii Mini, available in Canada only, December 7th? My thoughts.
It's really stupid.
Yeah, a little late for it. Even though I don't have a working Wii right now, so it'd be cool to have one. So I have one to use a Wii again for. But I don't know what the price is. I really don't know much about it because, like I said, it is in Canada only. So I haven't looked too much into it, but really have no desire for one. How about y'all?
I mean, I don't see the point of it other than they're cheaper to manufacture. But I think they're still selling the normal Wii. It's not like they're taking away the normal Wii and bringing out this mini Wii. They're being sold side by side, I believe. So it's there's no real point to it. There's no difference in it other than that one. I think the Wii Mini definitely does not have any GameCube functionality.
is it cheaper price? Different colors or anything?
It is in this weird. It is like in a weird red color. As for the price, I don't know because it'd be in Canadian, and that's a little bit different than our currency. Like as I found out, I think it's like one things up there cost like maybe like 1.4 times 1.4 what it would cost down here. Like there's a little bit of a difference. Yeah.
I can tell you what Chance thinks. He doesn't care because he just got a Wii.
Yeah.
So he's gonna do it when he's.
That's actually what I was gonna say. It's like I honestly have no opinion.
I think it's amazing. I'm going to import 5.
I honestly don't care. I mean, and I know that's almost rude, but it's just, I mean, whatever. I mean, if they sell a whole bunch of them, great. If they don't, whatever. I mean, whatever. I just don't care. You know.
It's like this new PS.
It is what it is.
This new PS3 Super Slim or whatever the hell they're calling it. What's the point of that? Is it really?
It looks so cheap.
It
looks
does.
so cheap.
And
I guess that's the point because it's cheaper to make. I guess.
Well, the thing of it is like every store I go to has tons of the normal PS3 Slims. It's not like Sony has to manufacture a bunch more PS3s unless they're planning on doing a price drop here soon to bust them out. But if you're going to do that, why manufacture more of them? Like if you're gonna bust them out, get them out of the warehouses before the PS4 comes out, why make a completely new one? It's Sony baffles me.
Well, that was awesome, guys. We had like 4 or 5 questions that time, so thanks. All the questions. It was great to have this much of a turnout. Keep them coming. Yes. Post anything you want on this podcast. Comments. I actually wasn't able to check our inbox messages, so hope we didn't get too many things in there to see if we got any artwork. Dustin, did anyone contact you about any artwork or anything?
No, I haven't. I haven't been contacted. But then again, I haven't checked the inbox either.
Okay.
So,
if anyone's interested, still please, if you're down for it. I know y'all saw that background in the back of that last podcast. It's not too eye appealing. You don't want to see that. So
It looks like. I mean, your face in that picture. I mean, mine looks ridiculous, but yours is like. It's what happens whenever you pause a DVD. You always get somebody in just the most hideous,
That was the whole point, and that was a random picture when I used to work at Blockbuster years ago. So that's a headshot from that. But if anyone is interested, please, if you want to shoot some artwork to us, that'd be fantastic. So we could get something up on our page and make it look kind of nice. And continue with questions here on the comments section, or just send us messages. We'll be more than happy to answer them. So, but since we're like free flowing here with all these questions, I actually got a topic I did want to mention with you guys and talk about with the recent events that happened last week with the shootings and stuff. And it seems like gaming is being under attack again with influencing a lot of people's minds with these weapons and all the violence in video games. I just want to see what your guys' take on that all is and your opinions. I know there's been some comments put out there by certain people, but I haven't really kept up with the news and everything with like the video game side of it. Have you guys been hearing anything from it or what?
I just saw an article where a senator is getting ready to write a bill that's going to investigate violence in video games. It's like every time, and I'm going to get a little political here. It's because every time one of these things happens, it's like, well, the kid played video games. He was a loner. He liked nerdy thing, And it's like, I'm sorry, but these sort of outcast kids do kind of gravitate to this kind of stuff. I mean, I was a teenager once. And I was I wasn't necessarily an outcast, but I was, not the most popular kid in school. And of course, I'd go home and I'd play Final Fantasy III, and it would be my sort of, oasis from, school and stuff like that. But, it's not like he was running down the hallways chucking copies of Call of Duty at these kids. And that's not what killed these kids. These kids were killed by a gun that, 5 years ago was illegal to own. And then when the bill expired, they just said, hey, you know what? Everyone gets semi-automatic weapons. Fantastic. Why do we need these? I don't know. That's my 2 cents.
I think my part on the whole thing is, which it might sound crazy. I'm not trying to blame games or anything for any of this, but I mean, we have to admit that things can influence our lives, and some people do let things influence
Shenanigans.
them that
I'm
shouldn't.
shenanigans. I'm calling shenanigans.
Like for me, like I let the Bible influence how I live my life. That like weighs a part in my life what I do. This guy could have been like, you know what? I'm gonna live my life like what this game might do. I see like the scene in Modern Warfare. What was it? The one where you're in the airport scene. He's like, oh, it's that easy to go into an airport and just shoot people. Maybe I might want to do it. So people, I mean, it could be
Steven, you are
crazy.
Steven, you are describing mental illness.
Yes, it is. It's a mental illness.
Because
You're exactly right.
I watched RoboCop when I was 6 fucking years old. RoboCop is one of the most violent films ever made. Okay?
Yeah.
I, in no way, shape, or form, have ever wanted to go into a building and shoot people up. You know?
Oh, 100% agree.
Oh, yeah. So,
that's the problem.
What year?
Some people can be, though. That's the problem. Some people can be, and it's, I don't know. I mean, there's not going to be a way to, like, keep them from playing the game.
Right.
But unfortunately, there are some people who can be influenced by the stuff.
Yeah.
But it does stink that everyone has to get labeled for it.
Yeah, conversely, just to kind of make a point here, there has also been people that has been inspired by the thing that inspires your life to commit acts of these. So, banning entertainment, ideas, that kind of stuff, it doesn't solve the problem. So, I mean, what these senators are doing, and of course what everyone is doing, is the same thing that happened with Columbine. It's just they're scapegoating. Well, of course, those kids played Doom. They listened to Marilyn Manson, which they did listen to Marilyn Manson.
Yes.
That's the reason why they committed, Columbine. When you actually, because I'm actually morbidly fascinated by Columbine because I was in high school when it happened, and I saw the night and day shift between before Columbine and after Columbine. And my school was in Ohio, far away from Colorado. And I mean, after that happened, teachers looked at us like we were the enemy. And so I've always had this fascination with it, and I really read into it. And it had nothing to do with, this kind of stuff has nothing to do with the entertainment this kid has watched. It has to do with the fact that he has mentally something wrong, and it doesn't matter what he could have been watching Teletubbies for all I know, and the Teletubbies could have told him go shoot up that school, and he would have, you know what I mean? It's the trigger, or the influence is not the point. It's the fact that this kid needed help, mental help, psychological help, and no one recognized the signals of that, and then he goes and does this.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. There's something wrong mentally. There's something wrong mentally with all these people who do something like this. There's got to be, and I don't know a way where you can find out what does this stuff or what's triggering it or how to get these people help sooner or see the signs of this stuff. And it does stink that it always, like, it seems to, like, I think some of the people even say when in a recent shooting that he did see something like it in a video game, or maybe he's just putting it out there for his excuse. Like he wants to think of an excuse. So he's going to say, well, I saw it in this, so it's okay to do it. Yeah. But with stuff these days, do you think we are getting a little desensitized maybe?
Absolutely not.
The video game environment?
Absolutely not. Because because look at history. I mean, people in the Middle Ages lived through actual slaughters and things like that.
Oh, yeah.
If anything, we are at such a distance from this stuff. It's not that we're desensitized to it. It's that we don't give it enough respect. We're just so far removed from it that, I mean, anything violent, I mean, even if it's on the TV, people just I saw people watching the screen about this shooting and just completely shatter. You know what I mean? And it's like we live in America here, we live in such a cookie cutter, prissy, doily-filled life. I mean, really, compared to the rest of the world, our lives are cake comparatively to like people that live in Middle East where
who just had a bombing? Like, yeah, they're bombing their own
Syria,
country
yeah.
over there. Yeah.
And it's like, these people actually live with this shit, daily. I mean, people in Iraq for the last 10 years have lived with bombs going off in their cities as a daily occurrence. So when something like this happens in our country where it's like a school shooting, I mean, it just blows our mind. Never mind the fact that over in these other countries, schools and shit blow up every day,
Yeah.
So, it's not that we're desensitized. It's just that we're so far removed from it that we just can't fathom it, and it just completely, destroys us.
And we'll let you get in here, Doom. I was going to say I think the other thing was, I mean, I don't want to make the incident sound like it was just like a small blip on the radar,
No,
but
no.
it was just the one thing this year, right? I mean, one incident 1 year in America kind of seems like a good thing, At least it's not every month or every 2 weeks we're having something go down.
I think this year, I mean, there was also the Dark Knight Rises shooting.
Yeah, the Dark Knight.
And
I
the
forgot
shooting
that
in
was
the
this year
mall in
too.
Colorado.
Yeah, and I mean, part of it's probably because I don't know if it really is like a 2012 hysteria, maybe subconsciously, or is it just the fact that these people that do these things see like, oh, if I do this, I'm going to be fucking immortalized on that TV. They're going to, because I mean that's what it is. I mean, it's a fine tightrope of talking about the victims and paying respect to the victims without sensationalizing the perpetrator.
And what stinks is like we never get to know because they always take the easy way out themselves.
Well, see,
in their own life.
that's the thing of it,
we
though.
never get to find out.
That's the thing of it, though, Steven. You shouldn't care. Who the fuck cares why he did it? Because he was a piece of shit.
Pretty much, yeah.
If you go into it and read into it, and that's what that's what these people want you to do. They want you to pay attention to them. This is their call for attention because they feel like, oh, I've never been, no one ever liked me. No one ever, paid attention to me. If I do this, then people are going to know my name and care about me. And I mean, they're not going to care about them like, oh, we care about you. They're going to care about you like, oh, I'm fascinated. Why did he do this? And that's not why. I mean, I don't know. That's partly the reason why. As soon as I saw this happen, I stayed as far away from Facebook as I could.
Oh yeah, and the thing with me, just with my employment, I kind of had to go through a whole hour worth talk with it at my job because I work at a school police department, so we had to be on the ready for anything that day.
Yeah.
And I don't even watch the news because it's like all bad news these days anyways. Like I don't know this guy's name or anything now today. And I even told when I got home that day with my wife, like, we're not putting it on. I don't want anything to do with it. And like my Facebook is swarmed with like pictures of the kids and stuff. I'm like, I don't want to see their pictures. I don't want to see anything to do with it. I'm sorry if that sounds bad, but
no,
I really didn't want to get too connected with it. And I think the only thing, I mean, it would have helped if he had a sickness or warning signs to be able to figure it out from him, just to help other people who might have the same problem. I don't even know if he was alive, if he would have been able to find that out or not anyway. I don't know. I have no idea.
That's the thing of it, though, is that we have countless by now of these events. We know what the warning signs are. It's just that their parents and the people who interact with this child every day does not. I mean, they're just blinded to it. They put their blinders on. Oh, it's not going to happen. He's not going to do something like that. Well, maybe he will. Maybe you should get him into some help. But I mean, I think I heard somewhere that he would literally just go home, go downstairs, and play video games all night. You know what I mean? And then go back to school. That's fine. Other people do that, and they don't do it. They don't go out and do this shooting. So, my point is, to blame video games for this is to completely miss the point. It's like we don't want to deal with the fact that maybe American society is not as great as we think it is, and maybe there's some vacancy in how we're raising the next generation. Maybe the next generation is missing something that previous generations have. We don't want to deal. Oh, it's just video games. That's what it is. Video games.
And I'm going to put. Sorry, I got one more thing. I'm sorry what's fresh on my mind. There was where I work at. They had a guy go on. I believe it was Fox News, and he did he was like one of the first or second people to give a response on it. And it was one of the most idiotic responses ever because I think they asked him, what do you think caused this problem?
and he straight up he said, I blame it on video games, and I blame it on, he said, the Call of Duties, and I blame it on the entertainment that our kids are just being grown up with these days. I think he said Hunger Games. I think he brought up stuff like that, and like the announcer, the newscaster, which some people like the Fox News is a more conservative news station, so they're gonna probably agree on everything anyway. But I mean, they did. He just flat out put it out there. This is what's doing it. And luckily, they had another guy talking with him that kind of calmed him down and said, "Listen, it's not just that stuff. So don't just straight out blame video games." Like even this other pastor said that, but just kind of crazy. He just went out and said just something ignorant like that made us all shake our heads, like, "What is this guy doing?" But anyways, go ahead, Chance.
No, I pretty much agree with everything you guys are saying. I will say though that I think we live in a nation that thrives on fear, and so they're always going to point to something, whether it's music or video games or movies, because those are the easiest things to point at because they're the most sought after. We all as human beings seek to be entertained, and that's so the entertainment industry catches the most crap when something like this happens. But I also will say, you can't. I mean, it bugs me that they are harping so much on the fact that he may or may not have had Asperger's syndrome, which is a form of autism.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so now we like I said, we live in a nation that thrives on fear. So now every time you hear about someone who has Asperger's syndrome, they're potentially a murderer now.
Yeah.
So that bugs me a lot. It's like, because let's think about all the people that were perfectly normal in mind. They were with it 100% and they commit a mass shooting, or something like that. They didn't have any mental problems. They didn't kill anybody. So now that doesn't translate into we are now afraid that anyone and everyone is capable of this, regardless of entertainment or influence. And I will say also that we are all held accountable for our own actions. And so when you ask me, what influenced this person to do it, I don't even care. It's the person himself. He did it. He is accountable for it, regardless of what video games or what music he was listening to. His actions are obvious, and he, obviously paid the capital punishment for it, because he killed himself. So, and that's where it starts and stops for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the necessity to watch for warning signs with people that have mental illness. I get it 100%. I totally agree. But we're talking about an isolated incident here. I mean, and all of these are, isolated incidences. Every time it happens, they may or may not have something to do with each other. But when it comes down to it, why are we so focused on the person who did it, and why are we so focused on the families of the people that died? Why not just leave them the heck alone?
Yeah.
That's really where I think it is. We thrive on fear. We want to watch the news. We want to hear these things, so we know what to look for. And when I say we, I don't mean me or you. I'm talking about, as a society. And so, it's perpetuating the situation to watch the news and to post Facebook statuses, pictures, and it's perpetuating the fear. I mean,
I think the news loves it when this stuff happens.
Oh,
man.
absolutely.
Oh,
you cannot tell me that somebody at CNN gives two shits about what happens from day to day. As long as they got something to talk about.
I think the most disgusting thing I saw, and then we can move on or not.
Yeah, we're already giving it too much attention as it is. But...
I saw them like interviewing like a child from one of the rooms.
Oh my goodness!
And I'm like, why is that child on fucking television?
That bugged me so much.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know if that person beside him was his parent or what, but it bugged me. There's no reason they should have been asking those questions.
It's like the Honey Boo Booization of the TV. Oh, we're on TV now. We're famous.
Yeah, seriously. And the kid, bless him, was just so calm about it too. He was, I saw bullets flying beside me, and a teacher grabbed me and pulled me in the room. It's like,
oh, it's horrible.
This kid had no idea the gravity of what was going on, and now they're sticking a camera in his face. That bugged me a lot.
Yeah. So there we go. That's our take. Video games aren't causing the problem, people.
Yeah. And
people cause
Not video
problems.
games' fault.
and I just want to say one more thing that I'm done. I know I kind of drew a hard line in the sand with what I was saying there, but I do really those 20 kids that died that day had no business dying. They just wanted to go home and pet their dog and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
but I have a tendency to draw hard lines in the sand about these things, and kind of forget about the human element, I guess. So I just wanted to say that real quick, just so because
it's because you're desensitized, Dustin. No, I'm just
well, after playing,
I saw them video games.
I tell you what, after
Those are
playing
video
Mortal
games.
Kombat, I just love to go out about people's spine. It's fun. Oh,
Uh-oh.
uh-oh.
Talking to me.
We've got a fourth guest on the podcast, everyone.
My son, everyone. But anyways, we'll move on from that. Chance, I'm really interested in hearing. I heard you jotted down a bunch of like topic stuff for questions.
Yeah,
I'm
I've got
interested in what
I've
you
got a
got,
few
man.
things.
I want to hear what you got there.
Okay. Well, you guys hit on one of them last time, and so I won't harp on that too much. It was kind of the series or games that you don't like that everybody else seems to. And you had a couple of them on there, and so I won't even ask you this, but I'll just put my 2 cents in because I wanted to. Um, I cannot, for the life of me, understand why people like to play Grand Theft Auto. I just don't. I just don't understand. I can't play it. It just isn't any fun to me.
Okay, let me ask you this: do you mean actually playing the game, or just getting on it and fucking around?
Just in general, I just don't see the draw.
Okay.
That's not. I'm not trying to be insulting to someone who likes that game or that series. I just can't. I don't like it. I can't do it.
Because I don't like actually playing the storyline, but I like to just put it in like with these sandbox games. I like just to put them in and just cause mayhem.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess I could see how that could be fun for a little while,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't spend money on it. I wouldn't buy it, to play. I don't know.
Yeah.
Next is kind of just sports games in general. I don't play any sports games at all.
Go outside and play sports.
Yeah, I like some of the ones on like I have like NHL '97 for the Genesis. It's kind of fun, but I only got it because
I hear 94 is the one to get. So there you go.
94. Okay, I'll look into it. This next one is just a very broad one, and it's not so much that I actually don't hate this series. I just can't get into them, and that's any kind of racing game. I just it's not that I don't. It's not that I hate them. It's just that it's not fun for me. It's I don't know. It just makes my thumbs cramp. So I've never played any of the Gran Turismo games or any of the Forza games or any Need for Speed. I've never played any of those.
What about like
really.
F-Zero and things like that?
Not played any of those. I've never really been into like Mario Kart or anything like that.
Just stick to NASCAR where you really don't need to turn. Just that's all you gotta do is hold a certain pattern down.
Yeah, I just haven't played those. And then this last one, this one actually drives me insane, and it's almost insulting to me, that these games exist, and that is Mario Party. I to the life of me will never understand why someone finds joy in these games. I don't know.
I don't understand playing a board game. It's like sports games. I don't understand video game sports. I don't understand board games, as video games. Like if you're gonna play a board game,
I can't knock like a relative into a pool of water on a board game.
Sure you can.
So I have to do it on Mario Party.
Sure you can.
I don't know.
You just have to set the rules up right, Steven.
Okay.
Yeah, so that, I mean, and once again, that's not meant to be insulting to someone who likes the series, but when I see a copy of Mario Party, and they're expensive too, like
it's got Mario in the title.
Yeah, exactly. I got a copy of Mario Party 2 when I got my first N64 because it was just a package deal. I paid one price and got a stack of games, and that was in there. And I was looking at the price for these things, and it's like a $30 game. It's like, good grief. Why? They keep it in the glass case at the vintage stock. Are you joking? Someone would steal this game?
It's a Nintendo first party game, brother. It's gonna stay up there in price.
Well, yeah, and it's fine. I'll let it stay there. I don't
You're gonna
care.
let it stay there. I'll be honest. When I have a family thing, anytime I go to a family event, like today, we just had our Christmas party thing this morning. Well, the event there was exchanging gifts and not actually playing a game. But most of the time, we're playing some type of game, board game, we could connect or something party game-ish when we are at like a party event. And like here at my house, I would not play like a party game by myself. But when we got a bunch of people around just goofing off, like having a good time, it actually is kind of fun. Even like the lamest of games, even Connected Ventures, I
Yeah,
found a way to enjoy that game because I had people around me just laughing at each other and stuff. So I guess it's an environment thing or what you might be in. If you're by yourself playing them,
yeah.
then that's
Well,
not too
I
much
don't
of a
know.
party. So
At least with the Kinect, it's a little bit more interactive, I guess, so it seems less annoying. And really, what I'm aiming at here with the Mario Party is like just the controller ones, basically, because I'm sure that the Wii ones added a little bit more depth to it, because you actually had to do something. But a bunch of people sitting around an N64 playing Mario Party 1 or 2, no,
What are
no,
are you saying you didn't like digging the control stick into your palm?
no, no, I don't like that at all.
spinning it around real fast, yeah.
Okay, moving on. Pet peeves about games. Not just, I don't know. It's hard to describe without just telling you some of my pet peeves. Um, when people say NES instead of NES, that that peeves
Yeah,
me.
I've noticed that. I think it's a Canadian thing, and because it seems like all the Canadian channels I watch refer to it as S and SNES,
Yeah,
and
it's
yeah.
yeah. It's like I got some NES games. It's like, what do you mean, like Loch Ness Monster
NES and
games?
SNES. Yes,
Yeah,
I agree.
but I'm okay with Super NES. You can say that,
Yeah.
or SNES, but it's not NES and SNES to me. Sorry, and but I would also put regular Nintendo in that same category. When people say regular Nintendo, it's like, uh, aren't they
I
all
think
kind of
I'm
regular?
guilty of probably saying that once in a
I
while.
But no,
think
no,
you
no,
are.
no. It's not meant to insult anybody either. It's just when I hear it, it's like, okay, it's the NES. Can we just all agree to call it that? I don't know. It's not a regular Nintendo, and they're not plain M&Ms. They're milk chocolate M&Ms. But and I also I when
It
people
says
collect
plain on the package.
Yes, there you go.
it's one of the things that I can't see myself ever doing, and I don't understand why people do this. Is they buy a lot of like game plushes and like action figures and stuff, like for like Mario and stuff. It's like and they have it in their collection, and like to me that stuff is really geared towards younger kids, and I don't know. When I see somebody with a big game room with an animal
Great. Now we're gonna have all
stuffed
the Pete.
animal
Now we're gonna
net.
have all the Pete Moore fans
Way
come
to
after
go,
us.
Chance. Yeah, good job.
Great. Thanks.
We'll be a
Sorry.
full on red bar this time for our
Okay,
like
well you can
count.
edit that one out if you want, but that's me.
No, you're fine, man.
Um, and the last one I have on dislikes, and I'll let you guys if you have any left after I've demolished them all. Bad reviews, and when I say bad reviews, I mean people that review games, maybe even for a living. They get paid for it, and they are just so inclined to just automatically say that the game is bad because it's not their type of game. Like they're so used to playing a certain type of game that when they review this one over here, it's just like they're just immediately just going to start trashing it. And I don't know. I've subscribed to some people even that I think that from time to time just are really just unforgiving with their reviews of games. I don't know. What
Well,
do you guys?
I'm glad to see like Dustin, for example, just now. He finally like reviewed a game he didn't like. So it's pretty cool to see a game discussion video was like, listen, I tried, but
Well, I
this
did it for
game's
Duke
garbage.
Nukem Forever too.
Yes, you did. You did that for. I'm sorry, you did
Yeah.
do it for Duke Nukem Forever. So it's cool to see some people actually put up a review of a game they don't like. But I'd say a pet peeve. Man, I'm having like trouble thinking of anything. I know I'm having a pet peeve right now that people were saying Nintendo when the Wii U was coming out, they were thinking about naming it just Nintendo again. and a majority of the people thought that was a good idea. Like, hey, that's a good idea. Let's name Nintendo again. This time around, Xbox is thinking about calling their new Xbox again, and they're getting ripped for it. Like, people are just saying it's the dumbest thing ever. Well, what's the problem with that? Nintendo was about to do it, and we were praising it.
Just called
So I
Xbox
don't know.
3.
Yeah, they can do that, but
Sounds too much like 360.
I'd say I know in gaming general these days, I'm getting spoiled this generation with games like Borderlands and Skyrim and stuff. They're letting us save anywhere we want to. So it's a pet peeve when I go back to an older game and I can't save when I'm in a dungeon unless I'm standing at a save point. Stuff like that gets a little bit irritating these days, but some games it makes the game better, like in Resident Evil series, stuff like that. But I don't know. That could be like a little minor pet peeve of mine, not being able to save anywhere you want in today's technology, especially in an RPG. I could care less in shooters and stuff, but in an RPG, let me save where I want to save it. So
See, that's the thing though. Like in RPGs, hold on, Steven.
I'm here.
I think I'm hearing your phone because I heard Chance as well. You have it on speaker? Speakerphone?
Is Chance still there?
Hey, I'm here.
Yeah, but
No,
like whenever
I'm talking through the headset again.
Oh, okay. For some reason, whenever he and I talk, I hear an echo. I don't now. Okay, good. Okay, you did something stupid over there, didn't you?
I'm rubbing my chest. That means
I get it. You gotta keep rubbing.
You
your
might
chest to solve the problem.
You might hear my chest hair gristling in the microphone.
The audio was bouncing off your chest. When I'm playing a game where I can save anywhere, I often forget to save. But if I come across a save point, I always save.
It clicks in your head. Okay,
Yeah.
I need to save.
I become too reliant on the auto save, and it screws me all the time.
Well, I'm messing up. And when I was playing East, there was a time where like East Origins, I'm like, I kind of want to put the game down right now because I want to go do something, but I couldn't because I had to find a stupid statue to go save at.
Wow.
And I get a little bit irritated trying to just play a game, and then I can't just stop it when I want to stop, and I have to backtrack. But just a little pet peeve.
Can you just Control-Delete and then minimize it?
No, I was actually going to be leaving the house.
Oh.
So
Leave your computer.
I didn't want to leave anything running. It's a new computer. I'm trying to take gentle care of it.
It already can't run Jamestown, remember? So I gotta be careful with it. But do you have any pet peeves, though, Dustin, or off the top of your head?
Is this just in video games, or is this just gaming culture in general?
I would say in general, just because I dropped the plush bomb.
Yeah. One of my biggest pet peeves is when I'm in a game store, usually 9 times out of 10 it's GameStop, and a certain clientele comes in, and I refer to them as the unwashed masses because they are literally unwashed. And they have to come up and crowd right up next to me, and these are usually really big guys. They're like, oh yeah, we just got done playing like Call of Duty for 8 hours, thought we'd come in and see if there's anything. And it's like, you haven't bathed in 4 days, dude. You need to get a shower. Do not leave the house. I mean, that's just a pet peeve in general. This whole, like, it's really the Walmartification of America, where it's like...
The Walmartification.
You know, like, I don't need to get dressed up.
New favorite word.
I'm just going in my PJ pants and, you know, a dirty t-shirt, and, like, that's acceptable. I mean, I don't know.
The unwashed masses are the Walmartification of the world.
Yeah, because literally, it's unwashed. But it always happens in GameStop, and it's like, and I don't want to sound like a snob, but I am a snob. They're always picking out like the word, like you're just like real. It's like the most stereotypical game for like a meathead, unwashed male to pick up. You know, and I'm just like, whatever. Okay, that was me being an asshole for a second.
What about the GameStop employee that doesn't know what they're talking about? Is that a pet peeve, or do you have actually knowledgeable employees? At your GameStop.
My GameStop that I go to, they're very knowledgeable.
Mine's good too, so yeah, I give a lot of praise.
We have 2 in my town, and one of them, the other one's getting better because some of the employees from mine went to that one. But in mine, I can always have good conversation. In the other one, you walk in there and they like. I hate it when like Best Buy is really bad about this. They'll try to like suggestive sell you on stuff, and they'll come up to me and they'll be like,
I got a story about that.
They'll come up to me and they'll be like, "Hey man, Madden 13 came out. It's great." And I'm like, "Dude, you don't even fucking know what I like. Go ahead." And it's like I try to talk to the guys at the other GameStop, and I start talking to them about stuff. Like I start talking to them about the Neo Geo X, because supposedly like my GameStop, I was talking to those guys. They're like, "Oh yeah, we're getting some in." Apparently, you can get them at GameStops. And I talked to the other guys, and it's like, what's a Neo Geo? And I mean, it's a generational gap. I get that, but on the other hand, this is a product that these guys are supposed to be selling. Because literally, like my GameStop had like people my age working in it, and the other one had teenagers, and there's a noticeable difference in customer service and everything like that. So, suggestive selling in stores—that's a big pet peeve. Because dude, you don't even fucking know what I like.
And my story to add on to that was I was in Best Buy the other day, and I was looking to see if there was any like holiday sales going on, something cheap to pick up. And like right now, their PSP stuff they're trying to sell pretty cheap too, but there's just no games in there worth buying. But went in there. Oh yeah, and ever since Dustin found Duke Nukem for $5, which might have been too much for it, I always think I can find a deal in Best Buy. $3.
$3.
But I went in there, and I'm in the 360 section, and this old man is over there. He's got to be in his 60s or 70s, and there's a Best Buy employee with him, and they going down the aisle, and he's like, "I'm sorry, sir, I can't find it. Let me see if I can get someone else to help you." The guy walks away, and I'm there with the old man. I was like, "What are you trying to find, man?" And he said, "I'm trying to find this thing here. It was an angel tree thing. First thing is what makes it bad. It's an angel tree gift." And the kid wanted Halo Reach.
Mm-hmm.
Now, confuses me, but I thought if you're on the Angel Tree, I mean, you could use some shoes, maybe some clothes.
Yeah.
But no, this kid has a 360 and he wants Halo Reach. But hey, I'm not gonna just leave that alone right there. But he's trying to find Halo Reach, and I was like, "Whoa, here it is right here." I mean, I found it instantly for him, and
they offered you a job on the spot.
No. Well, this was the old man, and the other guy had walked away to get help. And I was like, but that I actually upsold the old man. I said, that's not the newest one. I said there is a Halo 4 out that just came out. And he was like, oh, really? I was like, yeah, but this Halo Reach one, if you put that down as his gift, I mean, it might be the one you want to get, but here's the new one right here for $30 more. And he's like, you know what? I think I'll get this new one for him instead. And by this time, the Best Buy employee comes back around, and he's noticed that the guy's already been helped. And he goes into the guy's like, well, I'm glad we were able to help you today, sir. And then the old man just walks off with Halo 4.
Did you walk up and grab him? He's like, you didn't help nothing.
But I can't believe I made this old man spend more money on this kid who apparently needs a 360 game.
Good job.
Now he's going to get Halo 4, but you're welcome, kid. You shouldn't even be getting that thing.
I love the indignation in your voice. You're welcome, kid.
Well, the other thing is, like, it might even stem back to the previous conversation, but I mean, it is an M-rated game.
Yeah.
And it was a 12-year-old kid asking for the game. And Halo's not bad with that stuff. It's just like blood in that game and guns. It's no cursing, no nothing like that.
It's not even really blood's like purple,
Yeah. So I don't even know why Halo games are rated M. I guess it's just the violence and shooting guns.
Yes.
But yeah, so this kid got a Halo 4, but I mean, the point was the Best Buy employee did not know what he was talking about, so there you go.
I guess really inventory management, because it's never implemented well in video. I mean, there's rarely a game where inventory management is implemented well. But other than that,
I think a lot of times these days, like at a GameStop or something, like you're saying with the inventory.
No. I mean like in a game.
Okay.
In-game inventory management is always sure. I don't know. I can't really think of anything. Yearly releases. That's a big pet peeve for me, because I don't understand it. Like the Call of Duties, I can kind of see, but like for sport, and I touched on this the last podcast. Sports games release a new roster as a DLC. Like what's the purpose of having a new Madden game every year?
Yeah, because the graphics aren't going to improve that much from year to year.
I mean, these companies are just they're just they're driving this shit into the ground. Two, it's like whenever you go to any retro store, what is the one thing you find the most of?
NES games?
Sports games. Just racks. I mean, like, I've literally gone to a couple retro stores, and they haven't been great ones, mind you. But, like, their entire selection for, like, Xbox. Like, I was looking for some original Xbox games. Their entire selections was just sports games.
Wow.
You know, there's, like, no resale value on it. So, I don't know.
Yeah, but the price tag doesn't reflect the fact that there's no resale on it.
I know.
They're crazy expensive still, and it's like, dude, you're not going to sell that ever.
Yeah.
You might as well just throw it away because
Yeah.
it's not going to, or, you know, give it away for free because no one is going to buy that.
You might as well just use them as coasters.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and it's like, if it's even worse with like loose Genesis games.
Yeah.
Like, is it like, if like, I don't know, like the retro stores that I've been to, they're so freaking inconvenient to look through because if they don't have the clamshell case and there's no top label on some of them, and it's like they're all just thrown in these stacks on the shelves, so you got to like get down on the ground and sort through them.
That can sometimes work in your favor though, especially with like
yeah,
because they don't care, they just throw it on there.
Right, but then you shuffle through, 70 copies of Madden to find, that one that's not, if it's not Madden and it's not NHL and it's not Sonic, then I'll glance at it. Nothing against Sonic. It's just they're so common. There's, tons and tons and tons of copies of that.
I will say this though about like Super Nintendo sports games. Those, depending on which title they are, those are worth picking up because if you do want to buy from places like Time Walk Games and get reproduction carts, they accept cartridges, donations, and then they'll take some money off of your order.
That was actually one of my other topics.
Oh, well. We can roll into that then.
Let's go right into it. What was it?
Segue into it. It wasn't like a really big deal. I just had written down here bootlegs, reproductions, hacks, and homebrews. Like bootlegs, like I've seen this a lot for like Game Boy Advance carts. Like people will make these bootlegs, and there's like telltale signs that you got to look for to like be sure that it's a real thing or if it's a bootleg. Now my question is, if the game is exactly the same and you bought it used, do you care? Do you care that it's not the real thing?
I recently experienced this last year, and it bothered me because I didn't know if it was going to work or fry my system or not, or put a bug in it. But I bought a game. A game store was closing down, and they had Elite Beat Agents in there for I think just $5. And I had heard some pretty good things about it, and I wanted to try it. And so I bought it, and it looked like a real copy. And I brought it home. And when I took it out, because I bought multiple games that day, so I didn't look at it too hard, brought it home, and it was pretty much like a printout cover from a printer. And I opened it, and it was this bootleg cartridge. And to this day, the store closed down, so I couldn't take it back. And I haven't put it in my DS yet because I'm so afraid of what'll happen when I put it in there. So I would not want a bootleg copy, and I hate getting. This kind of goes back to pet peeve thing again. With I ordered something on Amazon, Luminous Arc, the very first one for the DS, was at a good price. So maybe that was fooling me already from the beginning because it was a good price. But they said American English copy of Luminous Arc for the DS complete, and when I got it, it was a PAL copy. Like so, stuff like that kind of irritates me if I'm being misled. But I mean, I'm down with reproductions. That's cool stuff right there that people are doing that.
With reproductions, at least with reproductions, you know what you're getting into. You know that it's not the original. Where in the case of a lot of the reproductions I want is like they weren't even available here ever.
Mm-hmm.
But so now they are. So I guess what I'm getting at is like if you accidentally got a bootleg of like a Game Boy Advance game and you didn't know it, but then and you find out that it works fine, would you like be pissed off and get rid of it and buy another copy, or would you just be like, oh well, I guess I have a bootleg?
Depends on what it was, because if it was like if I ever found out that my copy of Panzer Dragoon Saga is a bootleg, someone's gonna fucking die.
Yeah, I guess so with a really expensive one, sure.
But if it's just like Yeah, if it's just like Super Mario World, I'll be like, who cares?
Yeah, that's what I mean. More just something you didn't shell out a ton of money for, and that's like one reason like why I'm kind of like I don't know leery about buying DS or not DS. Well, I guess DS too, since you had that problem, Steven. DS and Game Boy Advance games online, especially on Amazon, because you can't see it before you buy it, and that kind of bugs me. It's like you just gotta like take their little brief description, and hopefully that they're not screwing you around. But I don't know. At least with Amazon, you could return it.
Yeah, I was gonna say Amazon's usually really good about getting you money back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't have personal experience with the bootlegs. I don't think I have any bootlegs, but I don't have anything that's worth any money either. So I guess I don't care.
Well, I think to finish us off for the night, we'll go into one topic I know Dustin had brought up way earlier, because I know that the podcast might not be that long as you think, but we've been here for almost 4 hours now. It's 9:30 because of all the technical difficulties.
We're about at 2.5 on the actual.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
Well, we could go into the one with the systems we missed out on, or we could like hold that off, because I know having Chance back is I'd love to get him back to talk more about his stuff. But would y'all want to tackle one more with that one, or just call it here?
I don't care.
I said let's roll with it. Let's go with that console. And the thing we're going to talk about is a console that launched that we missed out on at the time that it launched. I know like now we probably have the console we missed out on before, but we could always go back into what it was like just not being able to experience it when it comes out. So, Chance, did you have anything like a console when growing up? You just were not able to get it, too young, no money, just couldn't get it, that you really wish you would have been able to experience?
For me, it's all of them. I had the NES and we had a 2600, but that was it until I got a PS2. So I missed out on everything Sega, and then I really, really wanted a Super Nintendo, but it never did happen. And when the N64 came out, I was kind of indifferent, and just because I had missed out on everything else already, so I was like, whatever, what's one more? And then when the GameCube came out, I just didn't care about it at all because I had a PS2, and it was, in my eyes at the time, superior, in every way. So why would I want a GameCube when I've got a PS2? So I guess, most systems, but I would say I would pick definitely the Super Nintendo was the one that hurt the most.
It's understandable. It's such a great library of games for that thing to have missed out on. Yeah, and I'll save Dustin's answer for last. He's probably got the better stories than us. But I'll just go into mine real quick. I was actually lucky enough to where I actually got every system at the time I kind of wanted. It back then, early, like you were talking about, Chance, Super Nintendo days. I wasn't as into gaming as I am then, and I actually was lucky enough to get Super Nintendo, I think a year or two after it had initially launched. But it wasn't a thing where I was dying to get one or really cared to have one right off the bat anyway. I had friends who had them who lived close by, so I played theirs. They had Sega Genesis, so I wasn't getting deprived of anything I wasn't missing out on much. And I remember the one that probably sticks with me the most is PS2, because I had a Genesis. I actually got that the year after it launched, pretty much when it was already dying. And but I was so excited about that. And then the PS2 was coming out, but I couldn't get it. And I had to wait, I don't know how many years afterwards before I got it. I actually had to start working to get my own because it cost so much money when that came out to get it. And I just really regret not being able to get that one on launch, because I was lucky enough to get the others, and I didn't know anything about TurboGrafx 16 or anything back in the day.
Yeah, I didn't either.
So, that's nothing I was missing out on, because I had no clue about it. So, one that sticks with me would be PS2, because we all know how great the library of games is for that system.
It's huge.
So, to have a late start on that, I'm still catching up to this day. It's such a fantastic system to get a late start on. So.
I have 11 PS2 games. That's it. So... Talk about a late start on a system. I've had it forever, but I haven't collected for it.
You got some work to do, young man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Young Padawan.
There's so many.
My collection is tiny. Like, Seriously, my biggest collection is my NES, and I got like 45 games for it. But then the next closest one is like Xbox 360, and I think I have like 16. So it's just nothing major.
Well, it's like you said, the type of person you were, like you want to keep a game you're gonna play. So I mean, if you're not
Exactly.
gonna play Halo 4 anymore, why not get rid of it and to something you're gonna play?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's just how you are. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. So Dustin, onward to you. System.
Yeah, the system that for some reason I don't know what it hurt because I'd always look at it in video game magazines and I'd just drool over it. And luckily, over the years, I've been kind of able to satisfy the itch through various re-releases, but it really took this last week to really sort of satisfy that itch, and that is
I know.
the Neo Geo AES. There was just something about it back in the day when you saw what those graphics look like compared to the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. You saw the size of those cartridges, and the system was over. Was it over? It was over $1,000 in today's money. And every cartridge cost like $250 then. So it was never a system I was ever going to feasibly be able to own. But it always just because I had such memories of playing an MVS at the bowling alley arcade and just playing these great SNK games. And to now have the Neo Geo X, which is not the same thing as having an actual AES and the cartridges and all that, but it is a much cheaper alternative, and I'm so happy to have it now. So mine will be the Neo Geo AES.
And see that's another one I still don't know a thing about. I hear talks about it all the time, and until I finally saw a picture of what the actual carts and everything look like I have no idea about that system that existed. So it was something easy not to even worry about even getting.
Yeah.
Like you said, just the price tag alone. Who
Yeah,
would
I
have
never
had
even
the money to get something like that?
I never even heard of it until about a year ago. Honestly, like I never heard the words Neo Geo until I started getting into the YouTube gaming community. So,
Well, that's like again, like what the great thing about this community is, like what we've heard with Johnny Millennium introducing so many people to E Series, and that's like the great thing about this. Learning about consoles you never known. Just look up Gamester. He can tell you about any console you ever need.
yeah.
But
I really credit Johnny Millennium with sort of the ease explosion that's happened because I really think that he's done a lot.
The explosion.
The explosion.
Yeah. But with it's awesome that Dustin's being able to finally have one of those childhood items he's always wanted in a Neo Geo, kind of, sort of, and hopefully.
And just for you, Steven.
Oh no, not that joystick! That thing is so loud.
I thought you were taking a leak. I was like, what are you doing?
Maybe I was. Maybe I was.
My hopes and dreams. But I'd say now though, is there a system now you still wish you had that you don't?
Right now?
Yeah, right now. I'll get me out the way. I still keep trying to find because I'm still so weary of getting stuff off of eBay and Amazon. I still don't. I've had a Sega Saturn and now I don't have one anymore, and I really, 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 really want a Sega Saturn back. So
I would say
like
if you're gonna buy a Sega Saturn, buy a Japanese model, and then get the action replay card, because the Japanese usually take better care of their stuff.
And that'll run North American games, which they're not region locked and stuff.
Well, you have to have that action replay card. It'd be the same. It'd be the same thing if you bought an American one and put it in. You know what I mean? It's just it gets rid of the region locking for the system and acts as a.
Don't they have a lot of good Saturn games over, like imports? I heard there's some good import stuff.
The Saturn was a completely different console in Japan. I mean,
the
library over there is incredible. Like you have no idea. Like because when they released it in America, basically Sega of America said no RPGs, no 2D games. Which cut out like a ton because the Saturn is a 2D powerhouse. I mean that's what it was designed to do was 2D graphics, not 3D. That's why every 3D game on it looks like crap. So yeah, it cut out a huge portion of the library.
Wow, did not know that.
Yeah,
I see a lot of footage of like shmups for the Saturn, and it's just like
Yeah.
Oh my God! It's just so awesome. Like arcade quality visuals.
Yeah. Riddler on YouTube. That's the channel name. He does a lot of import Saturn pickups and stuff like that. And that he's a good. I would say he's a good resource if you're looking into importing for the Saturn because he buys a lot of
Oh, cool.
Saturn imports.
And I want to say, last time I checked on eBay, the Japanese models were a whole lot cheaper even to buy than the American ones too. So
yeah,
awesome. I'll definitely look into that. And another one, just quick one to throw in there is I'm staring at like 50 something NES games I have here and still don't have a working NES. I'm looking at 2.5 I can't get working. And so I'd love to have a working NES again so I could play my NES games. That'd be great. But anyways, go ahead. Is there anything you'd still want that you don't got?
For some reason, some weird reason, I don't know why, I kind of want a 3DO. And I know if I got it, I would probably hardly ever play it.
I have a game here I could give to you if you want one.
But
it's a complete sealed PGA Tour golf game that I've
Yes, that's the one I've always wanted.
Dude, the Holy Grail.
Oh, finally.
50 cents at Goodwill. Oh, sorry. The official name, Pebble Beach Golf Links.
Yeah.
Still sealed, son. Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those things. It kind of goes back to like the AES. I remember seeing pictures of Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo on the 3DO, and I was just like, "Whoa, that blows my Super Nintendo out of the water." So for some reason, I want that. But I know like the only two games I would play, I'd play Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo for a little bit and be like, "Okay, it's Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo," and then I'd want Lucine's Quest, and that would pretty much be it. So I want one, but I don't know why I want. So I haven't bought one.
What about you, Chance? Is there anything you still wish you could get or want to pick up?
Yeah, there's a few. Saturn is actually one of them that I toss around quite a bit. At my local-ish vintage stock, they have several Saturns for like $40. And the problem that I see with the Saturn for me is like there's a ton of games that I would love to get, and probably more so on the import side since they're cheaper. But like I said, they're just so expensive. It's like the RPGs for the system are just absolutely crazy expensive. Like Panzer Dragoon Saga. Holy crap! Over $100 for a copy of that game, and
over $200.
Yeah, $200.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. See, I don't even know.
Did you say the price was justified, Dustin? I think you said you did, right, in your video.
For me, it was because it is a very interesting and unique RPG. You're not going to find another RPG like it. But I mean, the price is climbing to about $300 for that game. So I cannot recommend people to buy it unless you are. I mean, it's not just buying a game; it's an investment.
Yeah. And I mean, there are definitely affordable games that I would want for the system too. I collect all the versions of Doom and all the other id Software games too, Quake and Hexen also, and I think there's Quake on the Saturn, and I know that Doom and I think Doom 2 are on the Saturn as well. So I would like,
Hexen's on there.
Yes, yeah, I'd like to get all of those. And there are, like the import shmups and stuff that I would be able to afford. So, I mean, it is a system that I am looking into. I haven't, pulled the trigger. I haven't, made any huge decisions on whether or not I'm actually going to get one anytime soon. Another big one is the TurboGrafx 16. I don't have one of those either. And there's just a handful of games that I want. And for the most part, they're fairly affordable, and I think that I would like to have them in my collection. So it sounds like it would be a good investment, and I know that for a fact there's also a good homebrew kind of community for the TurboGrafx and the PC Engine also. So I mean, there is the possibility and availability of new games for the system. I'm always looking, I'm always kind of tossing around the idea of getting a PS3 and definitely a 3DS. And I know those aren't retro systems, but they still have, evaded me thus far. And lastly, an Atari Lynx 2. The only Atari handheld that I can think of, other than some of the old computers. But yeah, and there's not a ton of games for the system that I would want. But if I could find one for pretty affordable price, I also collect the Gauntlet games. And there's one of the Gauntlet games that's only available for the Atari Lynx, and I'd really like to get that.
Now,
So,
one like none of us mentioned was the Vectrix. Dustin, are you interested at all in maybe getting one of those one day?
Well, I have the Vectrix app on my iPad, which I guess I should have talked about that when I talked about games I've been playing. It's pretty fun, but it'd be one of those things like if I actually bought one, it would just kind of I mean I would play it every now and then, but it would just kind of sit around and
It would just sit, yeah.
yeah, because I mean the games are fun and the vector graphics, which the iPad doesn't do anything justice. You have to really see the system for itself. But the graphics are really eye appealing when you see them in real life.
yeah, I mean, there's other systems too. Besides, I mean, I don't really want a Vectrix. Really, I'm not really interested.
Yeah.
But there are a few other classic systems that if I found them for pretty cheap, I would probably buy them. And that, like a ColecoVision and an Intellivision. Part of me, some strange part of me, wants a Magnavox Odyssey 2. It's just I just like to experience them more than anything.
Yeah.
But once again, it's like not something I'm like actively seeking. It's just something that, well, that's cool, but like you said, I wouldn't play it that much, especially to justify the price tag on some of that stuff.
I guess I would also like to. I mean, I guess I kind of want a 7800 and a Coleco as well. Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
See, for me, just those system. I'm sorry, they're too dated for me. I don't think any of those games would be playable these days, so I could care less to have any of them.
Actually,
I'm glad you didn't do an Atari collection, Dustin, video because.
Well, I could have. I can't.
I know.
But it's funny how some of those I have a 2600 and like Yar's Revenge. I can sit there and play Yar's Revenge for like
that game is awesome.
A long time. I mean, it's very playable, and I love to put in an adventure and screw around with it and try to figure it out because it's kind of like Zelda before Zelda existed.
Yeah, I can play. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Chance.
I was just going to say I can play Defender and Galaga and all these other arcade ports. Berserk is great.
Yeah.
And Demon Attack, and there's a really great shmup on the system called Solaris that I have. And see, I love those. Some of my favorite shooters are actually on the 2600. So.
What happened?
I don't know.
Dead air.
Still there? I thought you guys. I just got a message like on my computer from my wife. Text message. I don't know how it happened, but apparently it came through my phone to the screen asking when I'm going to be done in there.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
And I thought you guys like heard the beep through the computer, so it's like right when he stopped talking is when the message came through. It's like, did they hear that?
That's like the perfect note to end it on.
Uh-oh.
When are you going to be done in there?
Well, sorry, I started to read it exactly what she did. She's put when, WHEN, and then she put an E space U going to be done in there. So
when
you gonna be done in there?
Sound it out.
Way to point out your wife's poor spelling.
I could never. She's like a 4.0 master's graduate, so
yeah, I know.
I could never make fun of her. So. Anyways, I guess that might be the note we need to end this.
Did we want to talk real quick about, since this is going to be like quote unquote the Christmas episode, your favorite Christmas video gaming memory?
Okay, let's see. Quick favorite. Let's see. I got two I'd like to put out there. Well, actually, I could talk about like all three of these really quick. When I first got my Super Nintendo for Christmas, that was like one of the best Christmases I ever had. I got the Super Nintendo. It came in box with Super Mario World. I also got all sorts of Mighty Morphin Power Ranger action figures that year with the Transformer. I mean, with the Megazords, everything. I mean, I was going crazy that Christmas.
I still have the Megazord.
That would be the greatest Christmas ever.
It was amazing, and I couldn't believe my mom was able to get, because she was a single mom at the time, and I don't know how she did it. So she really tricked me though, because she put all the action figures. They were still in their packaging, but she put them in this huge like
stuff you get dishes and stuff in box. I was like, what the heck am I doing with dishes? I don't want dishes for Christmas. But I
Dare I
remember that.
say,
Go ahead.
dare I say, I think I still would be happy to get Mighty Morphin Power Ranger action figures.
Oh, I still wish I had all that stuff. And I remember I played that Super Nintendo from the moment I opened it. The action figures didn't get any play because I was playing Super Mario all day long. Oh, it was so fantastic. Being a kid, be able to sit there. Mom would bring me some cookies that Santa didn't eat, and it would just be fantastic. So, and the next memory I had was when the 64 came out. The only reason I remember that was because I cheated that Christmas and I knew where the presents were, and I was trying my best not to peek in there to see if I got it or not. But they had a padlock on the door, so we couldn't get into the garage. But I kind of weaseled the door open enough where I saw the 64 sitting in there, and I just remember being so excited. But it was like 2.5 weeks before Christmas, so it was kind of like torture. I'm sitting.
Torture.
Oh yeah, and I know that it's in there, and I can't play it. But I just remember I really wanted a 64 so bad. It wasn't the year it launched, I don't believe. I don't know when Zelda came out for the 64, Ocarina of Time, but I think it was 98, correct?
97.
97 for Ocarina?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think I got the system in 98. That's when I actually got it. So when I got it, I had Zelda. She bought Zelda for me. And NFL Blitz for you sports haters. I got Blitz as well. And I actually spent more time playing NFL Blitz that day than I did playing Zelda.
Oh my goodness.
But I remember it taking months for me to beat Ocarina of Time. But that was an awesome Christmas too. And then third place would be my Dreamcast Christmas. So with Sonic Adventure. I remember that being great because my friend had a Dreamcast and I was so excited because I had one of my own and being able to play Sonic Adventure was fantastic. So those would be like my three favorite memories, probably with the N64 probably being my favorite one, just because I cheated and was able to find out what I had. So go ahead, whoever wants to next.
You got one chance?
Yeah, the year that I got my PS2 was pretty awesome. Unfortunately, I didn't know that you had to have a memory card, and neither did my parents. So when I got it on Christmas Day, it was great, and playing Final Fantasy X and Enter the Matrix and having a really great time. And every time I restarted the game, I had to start over at the beginning, and I couldn't figure out why. Other than that, though, just it's not something that I got, but something that I always used to do around Christmas break was I would always play Wizards and Warriors for the NES, which is actually my favorite NES game, and I would always just play it a lot because I was home, for Christmas break from school, and I was like, I guess I'll play that, and then I would just sit there and I'd play it like 4 times in one sitting because it's really a short game, and it only takes about an hour to beat.
Your latest video, you said that, like, you mentioned that just now in your newest video.
Yeah.
It seems like a game that's going to take, like, a long RPG, but
no.
it's really only about an hour long or something?
No, if you know what you're looking for and you know where to go, it only takes about an hour. So.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a really short game. The sequels, I don't know anything about the third game, but the second game is quite a bit harder. It's called Iron Sword. It's a little bit harder, but so yeah, I mean that's just a Christmas time memory, I guess, with gaming. And then I guess the year that I got my Game Boy for my birthday, my original Game Boy, I got it. My birthday's in November, so I got it, just about a little more than a month before Christmas. And then for Christmas that year, I got Metroid 2, and that was pretty awesome. So.
Ooh, cool. That's the thing. My parents weren't good at picking out games, so I'd get the one game for Christmas, and then the rest of the year I'm trying to like give them ideas of what game to get, and they would never get me the right game, so they always had to take me to the store to buy the because they just weren't good at that stuff.
Well, that's when my parents just started giving me money instead of trying to buy presents.
Yeah.
So, all right, here's $100. Buy whatever the hell you want. I'm not going to try and figure it out for you. So I'm like, all right. So, yeah, I'm done.
Okay. Probably the best one, the biggest one was Christmas of '88. When I got my NES. Notice I said NES, not NES.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, I gotta keep you happy. But literally, take the movie A Christmas Story, replace the BB gun with an NES, and you have essentially the same exact thing, except I didn't beat up a kid.
I was just gonna ask, did you get beat up by a kid with yellow teeth too?
No.
I want to stop you real quick, if you don't mind, because we all know you turned 30. You said it last episode.
Yeah.
So, what was your age at that time when you got it?
6 years old.
So 6 years old. At
Yep.
6 years old, you knew that there was this video game console, and you wanted it so bad.
Yeah, because we'd be babysat by people who had it.
Okay.
Because this is back in of course the 80s. These kids' their dad was a truck driver, and back in the 80s, being a truck driver meant you made a lot of money. So they always had like the newest and best thing. So we'd always be down there watching them play like Ninja Turtles, and they're actually the people that introduced me to like my copy of Dragon Warrior is their copy of Dragon Warrior. Like
awesome.
They're the ones who introduced me to Dragon Warrior.
I love stories like that.
Yeah.
Like Johnny Millennium's copy of Phantasy Star is the first, Phantasy Star is the first one that he ever saw. That's so cool to me.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was like literally like that morning at Christmas, like we'd open all of our stuff, and then my brother and I were kind of sitting there like, oh, it didn't happen, and then my godfather wheeled out this TV stand with a TV on it and the Nintendo, and he plugged them both in and hit the power button, turned them both on, and there we had Super Mario Brothers, ready to go. So, I mean, that was pretty awesome. Number 2 would be the Christmas I got Final Fantasy III. I was literally so excited about getting Final Fantasy III that I did not open the rest of my presents until later in the day. I opened Final Fantasy III.
That's awesome.
Ripped off that shrink wrap, opened it up, took it upstairs, and played it.
Did you and your brother have to share the console though?
Yeah, but it was okay because he wasn't really interested in it.
Okay, well that's good then. You didn't have to fight over playtime.
I mean, the NES, it was more of a trade. When the Super Nintendo came out, he was kind of done with it. He's
there is no I get next when you die on an RPG.
Right. But he's back in the gaming now. He has an N64 and a 360. So, but he's not into it like I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a good one. I literally got to Figaro. I think maybe a little bit past Figaro Castle before I came back down to open the rest of my presents.
Yeah, I don't know where that is.
Yeah, Steven would know. Like after you escape Narsh with Terra and Locke, and then you go meet Edgar for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much that far. And then I was like, all right, I need to go back downstairs and I need to go back downstairs and visit with family. And then the number 3 would be when I got Resident Evil 2 for the N64, because I was I was a big defender of the N64, but at the same time I knew I was missing out by not having a PlayStation. And once they announced Resident Evil 2, I was like, I need this game. You have no idea, I need this game, because I've never played a Resident Evil before. So I got it, and I was just completely blown away by how much they actually packed into that game cartridge. It was amazing.
Do you still have your original cart from those days?
No, I don't, because I got rid of all my stupid idiot. I got rid of all my N64 stuff.
The system he defended.
I know. Well, I mean, I defended it, but I secretly I defended it because it was my system.
This is one he had, yeah.
I secretly knew, yeah, you're right. Sony PlayStation is better because you have the Final Fantasy. But I have Ocarina of Time. So, those are my 3.
So there you go. Not as well as probably a Johnny Millennium and Rob Man Christmas episode, but hey, those are our memories.
Yeah.
But we actually, looking back, I actually have a question I forgot, and it just popped off the top of my head when you guys said Phantasy Star.
Your wife's going to be so mad.
Listen, I don't want our viewers to be let down when they ask us a question. We're gonna answer it, and it can be quick. But I gotta bring it up here. Michael Yanachito. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your last name, but he asked us if we have played any Phantasy Star games and beaten them, and what our opinions are on them. The reason this can be so short for me is because I haven't beaten or played any of them. I have Phantasy Star Portable that I'm playing. I played on the PSP. And that's nothing like the old school RPGs, so I will let anyone else try to answer that for you.
Chance?
Mine is very brief. I played a ROM of Phantasy Star 1 this summer. I got pretty far in it. I was on a business trip with my wife, and I was sitting in the hotel room, for like 3 days while she was at class. And so I didn't really have anything else to do, and I couldn't bring a console with me on the plane. So I just, brought my laptop and decided that I was going to boot up a ROM of a game that I didn't have on the console and play it and try to beat it. And I got pretty far, had a really great time with it. I really, really want to get it for the Master System, and then I'll just restart it on the Master System when I get it, not if, because it's one of those games that I'm really looking for. And but that's it. That's all the experience I have with Phantasy Star.
I played the first game on the Game Boy Advance collection, and I love it. I adore Phantasy Star 1. Not only is it a very early RPG, but it's an RPG with a female lead character. Think about that back in the day. I can only think of one other game, and that's like Metroid, right off the top of my head.
Yeah, but you didn't even know that.
But you didn't know until you beat it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I played Phantasy Star 2 a little bit. And for some reason it didn't captivate me as much as 1. I finished 1, but I only played like 2 for a little while. And then since I haven't beat 2 yet, I have not played 3 or 4. I have played some Phantasy Star Online on the Dreamcast, and I enjoy that. But I really wish that Phantasy Star would go back to its roots. I think as much as I think Sega needs to give that to the fan base, even though I don't think Sega is really interested in what their fan base wants anymore.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. They care.
But yeah, I really wish it would go back to its roots and not so much the Phantasy Star Online, even though that's a great game, and Phantasy Star Universe and all that, Phantasy Star Portable. I really think that we need a classic RPG. But
oh, are you still there?
Yeah. Sorry, I just kind of abruptly ended that. Yeah, that's it.
I will say
I would say
to
the first one's still the best, I think.
Cool, and that is a Vita game I'm looking forward to next year. The Phantasy Star Online 2. It's some multiplayer MMO action going on with people. So there you go, man. That was a packed episode with a lot of content.
With a lot of cuts.
A lot of cuts, a lot of technical difficulties. But I think it was a great episode. Man, Chance, it was awesome for you to be on here with us.
No problem. Thanks for having me. I'm a big fan. I was kind of almost starstruck when I asked Dustin if I could, be a guest, and he said, yeah. I was like, oh, man. I was nervous.
Dude, you're awesome to talk to, and we'll be more than welcome to have you back anytime, man.
I would love to come back.
You're easy to talk to, and we really enjoy your channel. I'm glad Dustin led me to your channel, and I'm glad he pointed you out, because you're really good. People, go check him out. Doomwaves on YouTube. He does great stuff, so be sure to check him out. Dustin, would you like to thank Chance for being here?
I would love and honor to thank Chance for being here. No, really, I'm super happy to have you on here because what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. Shit. Fuck. God.
We're gonna say all your
I'm gonna start
500
having a gruff gun moment here. God, no. I really enjoy your channel, Chance, and I really want people to go check out your channel because I don't know when I don't remember exactly how I found it. I think you commented on a video, and I was like, "Who is this kid?" And then I clicked on your name, and it's like I saw your Dragon Warrior video, and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna watch this." And then I was like, "All right, I got subscribed to this kid." So, but I really, when I found your channel, I really felt like I found, I don't want to say like a diamond in the rough because I feel like that kind of degrades your channel a little bit. But I really felt like I found something special there. So, I definitely want to make sure, all you guys out there listening, go check out Doomwaves. He's a guy, yes. I mean, he just started up not too long ago. He definitely deserves more subs than he's got. Yeah, so thanks for being on here. And, of course, we will have you on here probably multiple times.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Look forward to it.
Yeah.
Cool deal. Well, thanks for listening, everyone. Again, just send us questions. Someone, if anyone's interested, again, in the artwork, just contact us, shoot us over a message.
show us what you can do. We'd be more than welcome to put it up there. We'll give you all the credit in the world to it. And just, I guess that's it. So just everyone have a safe and a great holiday season. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you want to be politically correct with our episode. I don't know. Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Happy Festivus for the rest of us. Everyone, just enjoy your holiday season. Enjoy the time with your family. Enjoy your time off and your vacation time. So, and that's it for me. So, bye bye.
Thanks everyone for listening. We'll see you later. Say goodbye, Chance.
Bye, Chance.